Time for Dixie State University Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3 KXDS Santa Clara. DSU Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3 is brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer. We hear you. And now, it's time for DSU Athletics.
Welcome to another episode of the Trailblazer pregame show here on Radio Dixie 91.3. I am your host, Martin Kelly. I will be here with you for the next 8.5 minutes until we send it live to Carrick Segmiller and Drayson Ball in the studio for the call for Western Colorado Mountaineers versus Dixie State Trailblazers. What a game that's going to be today. Let's jump into this already, guys. This game is going to be interesting in the fact that the scenarios that have been placed on this game for Dixie State to go forward with the rest of their schedule is going to be a big one. And for Western Colorado, they're trying to get their first win of the season. They come into this game 0-5 in RMAC play, 0-6 overall as a record. They lost their last game to Colorado School of Mines. They lost that game 44-6, Colorado School of Mines. They got butt whooped in that one. 44-16 was the final score. Really, they didn't do anything better on the run or the pass or anything in that game. That was their result. Last week for Dixie State, though, they lost their game to Grand Valley State, the second-ranked team in the country. They lost that game 35-14, dropping them to 4-2 overall on their record and 4-1 in RMAC play. Coming up more on this pregame show, we're going to talk about what happened with Dixie State in their game against Grand Valley State, and we'll also talk about Western Colorado, and we'll get into the scenario situation for Dixie State to play in a conference championship, the RMAC, and possibly get into the Division II playoffs for the national championship. We'll talk all about that coming up here in just a minute here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to the Trailblazer pregame show here on Radio Dixie 91.3. I am your host, Martin Kelly, in the studio with you here at Dixie State University. Let's jump into it real quick with Western Colorado University taking on Colorado School of Mines. Again, they lost that game 44-16. Looking at the numbers for that game, they did not have any success in the rushing department. They ran the ball 37 times, only 53 rushes. Their longest run was only 11 yards. In the passing, though, they had some success there late in the game. They threw the ball for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their longest pass was 40 yards. I looked at this game carefully, play by play. Western Colorado is not a horrible team. They've had a very amount of close games this year. Their closest game was against Adams State when they lost 55-52. Their other closest game was taken on Colorado Mesa. They lost that game 24-20. This team is not a horrible team. They've had some bad losses this season. They lost to Idaho State the first game of the season, 45-10. But not a terrible record. I mean, obviously a terrible record, but not a terrible amount of losses. This team was very close in a lot of games. If they could have turned it around late, they possibly could have won a couple more games. But it's just not, it didn't go well for them, and now they're coming into this game 0-6 overall, 0-5 in RMAC play, trying to avoid a winless season, trying to get their first win of the season here in 2018 season. Now let's jump to Dixie State University here, as they lost last week, ending their 4-game win streak overall. They lost that game to Grand Valley State, the second-ranked team in the country, 35-14, and obviously I was on the call for this game. This game did not go well for us at all in any part of the department. We were expecting the run to take over the game, CJ Luongo to have yet another awesome game and another impactful game where he could carry the team on his back and lead us to a victory. That did not happen this week. They ran the ball for 37 times, 68 yards only on the rush, no touchdowns. Their longest run of the game was 17 yards, and that was by their quarterback, Easton Smith. That is not a way you want to win the football game. You want to win it with CJ Luongo and Lawrence Starks, your 2 powerhouse running backs, running it up the middle, running it up the gut. It didn't help the fact that your right tackle was a new right tackle on the team. The center, the backup center had to play. He low ball 7 snaps in the game. Michael Sanders did not look well in the game. Easton Smith came in and took over and it played fairly well. He threw 2 touchdowns. They threw the ball for 53 yards through the air. They threw the ball for for a season high 30 times in that game. They were just trying to they were trying to throw anything at the wall and hope it stuck, and it did not do that. And as a result, they lost the game 35-14. Here's the thing. As we keep diving into this, I got a couple more minutes here on the air with you guys before I got to kick it out to Carrick and Drayson. The scenarios in this situation, let's dive into that. Now, Dixie State is tied for second in the RMAC conference with Colorado State Pueblo. Obviously, Colorado State Pueblo beat us earlier in the season. If we were to win today, all right out, we were from here on until Adams State, which is the last game of the season. We beat Colorado School of Mines November 3rd. That's going to be our homecoming game. We win that game. We win out, and Pueblo loses. We would be number one in the conference play. We would be the number one. We would be the number one team. We would host the RMAC conference championship game against Colorado School of Mines, and if we were to win that game, we would go to the playoffs for the first time in Dixie State history. Now, of course, there's got a lot. There has to have a lot of things go right in order for that to happen. We have to beat the other teams on our schedule. Chadron State's still on the schedule. Colorado Mesa's still on the schedule. Adams State is still on the schedule, and Colorado School of Mines is still on the schedule. So it's not going to be that easy. But as I've been a believer all season, I believe Dixie State is finally turned the corner. I've talked to a lot of players on this team. They tell me the last couple seasons was not because Coach McClure couldn't coach and he didn't have the right system. There was a lot of bad players in the program. They finally weeded all those players out. They got the good players that they know can play football, that know they can win. And I think it's just going to turn this season around. And I think it's going to go from here on out. That is going to be success for this team from here on out. Now, we're going to kick it out to Carrick Segmiller and Drayson Ball on the call for today. Obviously, this is going to be a good one. We're going to kick it out to him in about a couple minutes here.
Hello?
Carrick, we're going to kick it out to you right now with the call for the rest of the game here.
I would never give up my microphone. I thought that was
KXDS, Santa Clara.
Hey.
My veins are blue and connected, and every single bone in my brain is electric. But I dig ditches like the best of them. Your trouble, Honduras. Come on, my daddy, yes, sir. Come on, my daddy, yes, sir. And even God herself has fewer plans than me, but she never helps me out with my scams for free, though. She grabs a stick and then she points it at me. When I say nothing, I say everything. Yeah, when I say nothing, I say everything. They put me down in the lazaretto. Born rotten,
Hey,
born
you're just gonna have to
rotten.
no, hang up. Hang up.
I
Okay.
used to know. Out of coffee and cotton. And all my illegitimate kids are begotten, thrown down to the wolves, made feral for nothing. Quarantined on the Isle of Man, and I'm trying to escape anywhere that I can. Oh, anywhere that I can. Oh, I have no time left. Time is lost, no time at all. Throw it in a garbage can. Then I shake God's hand. I jump up and let her know when I can. This is how I'm gonna do it.
Radio Dixie.
Mama said, don't give up, it's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing, didn't have a time but I always had a vision, always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living, didn't know how but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million, always had high hopes. Mama said, something for oddities, stranger kisses, ain't ever wannabes, winning the novelties, don't ever change.
10 to go in the first. Trailblazers.
Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down.
Sanders
Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never
goes for
come
just 2
down.
yards. He was hit immediately.
Yeah, just a simple little slant route. Michael Sanders able to find Smith immediately. You see the defender playing off them, but able to recover well. They're going to sniff this out quickly. There's a good tackle there near the 35-yard line.
Dixie State out to the 35. It'll be 2nd down and 13 after the 2-yard pickup. Luongo in motion, now empty backfield for Sanders. Trips to the far side. Sanders calling for the snap. Gets it. 2-step drop. Fires. Complete across the middle. Ball comes out late. He's got to be marked down. Either that or incomplete. It's going to be incomplete pass. Is that DeJuan Dantzler? DeJuan Dantzler making the catch. Ball came out late. Looked like it could have been maybe a catch, but the big hit pops it out. They say incomplete.
Yeah, just a route here by Dantzler, who just finds a pocket in the Mountaineers defense. Not able to bring that ball in, however.
Dixie State going to hustle back up to the line. Now they slow down, looking over to the sideline for the play call. It'll be trips to the near side now. C.J. Luongo at the left hip of Mike Sanders. Xavier Smith motions from right to left. Now twins to either side. Play clock down to 7. 3rd down and 13. Sanders is hit from the blind side. Ball is loose. And I believe Dixie State picked it back up, but that was a vicious hit. And Sanders is going to pick himself up off the turf. He did not see that hit coming. And in today's game of football, I mean, that's a tough hit, but it looked like it might have been helmet to helmet even.
Looked like it was Tepule Asatoa who was able to get in here. Yes, it is.
It's a clean hit.
From the right side, Sanders doesn't see him. He knocks the ball loose. And fortunately for the Trailblazers, able to recover.
Did not even see it coming. 4th down and 23. It'll be Josh Carlson now to punt from his own 15-yard line. It's a foot into this one. It's a good one. Backpedaling is the returner, making a fair catch. And that is Josh Nelson. He'll make the fair catch. Pretty good punt by Carlson. Western State will start at its own 32-yard line. Dixie State, one first down on that drive. And then a penalty. And a forced fumble that could have been disastrous. Lucky Dixie State able to dive on it. Here comes the first possession of this game for Western Colorado. It'll be Dylan Jacob, your quarterback. 2 receivers to either side. He'll leave it with the tailback. And he goes for a pickup of 2 before he's driven back. And that is Brian Evans, the number 2 guy listed on the 2 deep. So no Isaac Fuqua, at least to this point. 2-yard pickup, no more.
Yeah, and Remington Kelly on the stop there at the defensive line, just to play up the middle from the pistol. Remington Kelly able to bring him down for a 2-yard pickup.
Twist to either side for Dylan Jacob in this Western Colorado offense. Man in motion. And they're going to fake it to the receiver that was in motion, and Jacob was swallowed up. He goes nowhere. That was Elijah Gillespie in motion. They faked the fly sweep to him. Jacob keeps it, and he goes nowhere. 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, Trailblazers staying disciplined on this fake jet sweep. You'll see the fake here to Gillespie. Jacob sells it well, but then pulls it up the middle, and right there to stop him is number 42, Wes Moai.
3rd down and 8. Jacob flushed out to his right side and throws it to get rid of it as he's being brought down. Anthony Yarbrough, Alex Lilliard, both in the neighborhood. Passes incomplete. Dixie State going to get it back, forcing the 3 and out. And I said Anthony Yarbrough. That's Kyle Murray. My apologies.
Yes, Kyle Murray there with the pressure, able to bring down Jacob.
The quarterback was outside the pocket when he threw the ball. The ball hit the line of scrimmage. 4th down.
Getting the call there from the referee
Yep.
as to why no intentional grounding was called, as Jacob was outside the pocket, forced out by Kyle Murray.
Believe we are on Radio Dixie 91.3 now as well. So we've got the full triple cast going, radio, TV, and internet, as well as on KEJJ 98.3 FM in Gunnison. Garrett Boyd putting a foot into this one, and it's fielded by Xavier Smith. And they're going to say fair catch was made. Xavier Smith was trying to return it. I don't know if he brought his hand up inadvertently, and the referee thought he called for a fair catch. Xavier can't believe it.
Yeah, Xavier was he put his arm up to block the sun, to shield the sun from his eyes, to be able to even catch it. He did not wave it, but to the referee, that's something that the referee's not going to make a judgment call on what you're trying to do there, and so he's just going to call the fair catch, probably the right call.
And Coach McClure unhappy. You can see him explaining that thing, but you can't blame the official. I mean, anything up above the shoulders in today's game, you're going to assume that he's making that fair catch call. Most important thing, Dixie State's got it 1st and 10 from its own 22. Sanders brings the offense back out onto the field. On a 1st down, fake the fly sweep, hand off to Luongo, and he goes nowhere. In fact, he'll lose a yard. 2nd down and 11 upcoming for Dixie State.
And that play was broken up in the backfield. That's number 45, Desmond Marfizo. He was able to get in and penetrate the offensive line. You see right here, forces CJ into another defender, and able to bring him down right behind the line.
Clock rolling, 11:05 to play. We are scoreless. Both teams with 1 possession, both teams with a punt, which, by the way, both of these punters averaging over 40 yards per kick. 2 of its premier punters in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Something to watch for on special teams. Empty on the near side, trip to the far side. Seiji Luongo at the right hip of Mike Sanders in the shotgun. 2nd down and 11. Shotgun snap, give to Seiji. Off tackle to the left. And he will pick up 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 8 after the 3-yard pickup. Looked like he might have had a hole, and then it swallowed up quickly.
Yeah, he was. There was some penetration on this one as well. I'd like to see who that is. That's number 95, Mark Zavala, who kind of was able to force AJ to maybe cut outside, maybe one hole farther than he would have liked to. Ran into a bunch of Mountaineer defenders.
Trailblazers going to go quickly on 3rd and 8. Now they're going to line up, look back to the sideline. We're trying to just draw Western Colorado offside. We're not successful. Now they get the true play call. 3 receivers on this right side. Smith, shotgun snap, fires near side, passes complete. Xavier Smith across the 35. Skips away from a tackler across the 45 and out of bounds near midfield. In fact, across midfield down to the Western State 47-yard line. What a play, a catch and run for Xavier Smith.
Yeah, just a simple out route, a 10-yard out route you'll see here to the right side of the formation. Sanders does a good job of looking to his left, force the defense that way. He comes back to Sanders. He comes back to Alex Smith.
And they're going tempo as Dixie State looking, I believe, Casey Allison on the far sideline, and Casey hadn't quite finished his route to turn around and try to catch that pass. He was wide open. Allison got a hand on it, but it falls incomplete. 2nd down and 10 as they hustle back to the line.
And one bad thing for color commentators, Carrick, is when the offense runs tempo.
Have to cut you off. Sanders on 3rd down. They get back to the line quickly, and he throws it up and over the top of DeJuan Dantzler, but Sanders is hammered again. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
It was Mark Zavala again giving pressure from the defensive line. This one forced Sanders to let go of the ball early. He's not able to drive with his left foot, and the ball sails on him.
It seems like just a few seconds ago there was that 1st down by Xavier Smith. Now it's 3rd down already. Dixie State slowing it down a little bit on 3rd down to make sure they have the right play call. They are in Western Colorado territory for the first time today. A little confusion offensively. Now they get set. Now Xavier Smith in motion from right to left. AJ Luongo at the left hip of Sanders. Snap to Sanders. Pressure coming. He hangs in the pocket, makes the throw, and Xavier Smith's not going to be able to catch up with it.
Yeah, just a little double move from
Incomplete.
Smith here. Yeah, just a little double move here from Smith. Goes out to the 40-yard line, acts as if he's going to make a curl route, and then he just a go, and not able to run under the long pass from Sanders.
Clock stopped 9:33 in the first. Dixie State will have to punt away. Carlson standing at his own 40-yard line. Josh Nelson, the main return man for Western Colorado, is standing inside his own 10 at the 8-yard line. Snap to Carlson, gets it away, booming punt, angling toward the right sideline, but not going to get there, and it's nearly out of the end zone. Touchback. Got a little too much on that one. Wanted to just place that one, but got all of it.
Yeah, he saw what he was trying to do, trying to just put it into that right corner there next to the pylon and hopefully maybe kick it out of bounds or have a little bit of backspin. That one that goes about 8 yards into the end zone for the touchback.
I want to thank some more of our sponsors. Chick-fil-A, our scoreboard sponsor. We're scoreless up on there today. 9:27 to play. First downs are brought to you by Fabulous Freddy's. And we have not had either team in the Intermountain Healthcare red zone. Second possession for this Western Colorado offense. I believe we got a quarterback change. I think it's Cameron Shumway. Indeed, it is Shumway out there now on offense. Snap to Shumway. Read option. He'll keep it. Big hole up the middle, cutting it back outside. And Mike Jones going to wrap him up and bring him down just across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Pickup of 6 for Cameron Shumway.
Yeah, a little bit of a read pass option, that RPO you hear so much about nowadays. Carrick, Cameron Shumway comes in. You see the fake there, and he'll just keep it, goes to the left side of the formation. A tough guy to bring down. Cameron Shumway, a 6'6" quarterback out of San Juan High School.
Here in Utah. Blanding, Utah.
Here in Utah.
In fact, redshirted his freshman year here at Dixie State. Feels like forever ago now. Now Dylan Jacobs back into the game on second down. He's flushed out of the pocket. He'll have to tuck it and run, and he reaches out. Did he get the ball across the marker for the first down? Indeed, he did. Needed 4 and picked up about 6 and a first down for Western Colorado.
And it was Abraham Reinhardt, the first one to get there and force him out of bounds, but not before Jacob can get out to the sideline. Gets a stiff arm there. That gets him a couple extra yards, propels him for the first down.
8:43 and rolling here in the first quarter. Dixie State and Western Colorado battling it out. Dixie State looking for its 5th win of the season. Snap to Jacob. Play action. He'll roll out to his right. Dumps it inside. Ball popped out, and was it intercepted off the tip? No, they're going to say incomplete. Pass was intended for Gillespie, and a Dixie State player there nearly had the interception. They're going to say hit the turf.
Yeah, clever play call here from the Mountaineers. You're going to see Jacob roll out to his right off the play action. Gillespie's coming from the weak side of the formation from the left all the way across the field. Not able to bring that one in, and it hits the turf before the Trailblazers can pick that one off.
Yeah, Darren Jones nearly had it, but the nose of the ball did fall down. Western's going to hurry now. They'll hand off, end around, and he gets around everybody. First down yardage out to the 50, and they're going to mark him out of bounds shy of the 50 at the 48-yard line. But that's Brian Evans again. They went some misdirection. They didn't expect Evans to have it.
Yeah, he was supposed to cut it up there. It looks like he does maybe a little off-tackle play, but he's able to bounce and get to the corner, get to the outside.
Mountaineers hurry back up to the line, and Jacobs going down. He's sacked for a loss of 2 on that play. Good defense in the secondary. Sebastian Martini going to get to him in the backfield for the sack.
Yeah, Sebastian DiMartini on the sack in the backfield there. His 12th tackle, his 13th tackle on the season.
7:45 and rolling. Both teams want to go quickly.
And DiMartini's 3rd sack on the season as well.
Dylan Jacobs still your Western quarterback. On second down and long, slant route across the middle, complete. Just shy of the marker. Needed 13, and he picked up 12.
That's complete. Number 18,
Jordan Barton making the catch, and he's hit just shy of the marker. 3rd down and 1. Western Colorado looking very good offensively on this drive.
Yeah, and you'll see here, Jordan Barton just gets there into the kind of a bubble in the defense and able to just kind of plant his feet and just make himself available for the chunk yard play.
Dylan Jacobs still your quarterback. No, it's Cameron Shumway, and he's going to get the first down and a couple more. Cameron Shumway, he's always fired up to play here at Dixie State.
Cameron Shumway, the ball carrier.
Mentioned earlier, he's from Utah, redshirted here, and then went to Western Colorado, for a better opportunity. Read option. This time he'll leave it with the tailback, and he's swallowed up. He loses just a yard. Ends up 5 yards in the backfield. But forward progress, he loses a yard. And that's Tremel Stanley, big fullback.
Looked like it might have been Tyler Heaton to get the first contact here. Can't see the number there. I believe that's who it is to bring him down in the backfield.
And he's fighting off an offensive lineman on that play as well. Good job to continue forcing him in the backfield. Dixie State defense facing its toughest test of the day. Second down and 11 at the Dixie State 41. Snap to fumble. It's on the turf. Still loose. Who's got it? As they tried to pitch it out, it's going to be third down, recovered by Western Colorado. Boy, a lot going on that play.
Recovered by Western.
A lot going on that play, Drayson. It looked like Dylan Jacob was lined up kind of to the side, and they snapped it to him, and then they tried to pitch out to the left side, and it got away from him.
Yeah, it just looked like a little simple, quick pitch to the left, but the running back not able to handle. It looked like he might have ran. Looks like a bad snap, and then kind of just a weird, like a frisbee toss. The running back drops it, picked up by Dominic Chance.
Jacob, your quarterback on third down and 13. Two receivers either side, and we've got movement on this Western Colorado side, line of scrimmage, and that's Elijah Gillespie.
False start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
I'll tell you what's interesting about that is Gillespie flinched, and then no flag flew, but he was expecting it to come, so he kind of got up out of his stance and took a couple steps, and then that's when the flag flew. I think the referees were going to let the first flinch go, and then he thought it was going to be called, and now it's third down and 18 for Western. Jacob, shotgun snap. Screen pass out of the backfield, Evans. Makes the catch and will get 5 yards back, but it'll be well shy of the first down. And a pickup of 5 yards. Third down and long. Western Colorado will have to punt.
And a great open field tackle here by Darren Jones of the Trailblazer defense. You see the just quick pass out to Evans. He's trying to make Jones miss. He's not biting on the fake. He's able to wrap Evans up at the angles and bring him down short of the first down.
Garrett Boyd out on to punt. Excellent punter. He'll put this one up. Fair catch. This time a legitimate fair catch called by Xavier Smith. Across the 10 at the 14-yard line, and that is where Dixie State will take over.
14-yard line, 1st and 10, Dixie State.
Some extracurriculars after the play. No flags that I can see. It looked like JT Anderson was tangled up with a Western Colorado player after that play.
Yeah, not sure what was happening there. Might have been just a little bit of activity after the whistle.
Tangled up with Quincy Campbell, a linebacker out of Grand Junction, Colorado. And Campbell just kind of puts his arms out and said, what's going on here? Quarterback change for Dixie State. It's Easton Smith. And he'll hand off on first down to CJ Luongo, and he's going to pick up the first down. Needed 10, got 10 exactly. His best carry of the game. Easton Smith out there playing quarterback now. And of course, they know that Smith can be a little bit more mobile than Mike Sanders, and so that adds just a different element to the offense. And you really have to watch for those read option runs. On first down again, same play. CJ Luongo spinning out of a tackle, and he'll get 10 yards, 11 yards, and another first down.
And this is one thing that CJ Luongo does better than any of the other running backs on the Trailblazer team, is he's just able to make the first guy miss. You see he gets it here, hit almost immediately just past the line of scrimmage. He spins off of that tackle, able to keep going.
Lawrence Starks now in at running back at the right hip of Easton Smith. Play action, fire across the middle, pass complete to Xavier Smith, and he'll dance across the 50-yard line and is brought down at the Western Colorado 49-yard line. Dixie State 3 plays, 3 first downs on this current drive.
Yeah, and trips to the right side was able to allow Xavier Smith to just kind of get out in the flat on this one and able to get a big chunk of yardage for a first down.
Starks still your tailback. Kind of a pistol formation. Starks is off to the left just a little bit. They're going to give it with Starks. Starts up the middle, and then right at the numbers tries to cut it upfield, and he's met after a pickup of 2 yards. Second down and 8 down to the Western Colorado 47.
And this play was originally designed to go more up the middle in between the tackle, but you see here Starks reads that the play has collapsed. He tries to bust it to the outside, and as he cuts up, he's met by a host of Mountaineer defenders.
So second down and 8. Pistol formation. Snap to Smith in the shotgun. He'll leave it with Starks. Shuffles off to the left, still moving the feet. And is stopped after a pickup of 6 yards. It'll be third down and 2 down to the 41.
Yeah, good play by Starks here, just able to kind of get into the hole and make little small cuts to to get the extra yards. You'll see here one cut there. There's another cut there, and then he just bull rushes one defender to get a few extra yards there to force 3rd down and 4.
Smith on 3rd down and 4. A lot of options for 3rd and 4. Trips to the near side. Looked like they had their play they wanted to call. Smith saw something he didn't like. Everybody looks over, and they might have changed something. Snap to Smith. He's going to fake the pitch and just keep it, and he's going down. Not sure what happened on that play, but he's going to lose 2 yards back to, or 3 yards back to the 45-yard line. It looked like they might have changed the play. They saw something they didn't like, and then they're stopped. Loss of 3.
Yeah, the whole collapsed quickly there on, and that's Jacob Benegas, who was able to bring him down for a loss there.
Carlson standing back at his own 43. It'll be Nilsson standing at his own 10. Not too far from where Carlson got the punt from just a minute ago. We'll see if he can arc this one and place it just a little bit better. End over end kick. Nelson will call for a fair catch, and he'll make it at the 6-yard line. And that's more of what they wanted to do on the last one. It'll be a long field for Western Colorado.
Yeah, you saw a different strategy here for the Trailblazers for Carlson. Just kind of puts the ball vertically to get to the ground, drops it, and that's what is able to get that end-over-end kick. It makes it so that it doesn't travel as far, and the Trailblazers defense will take over there at the 6-yard line.
Again, want to welcome in any listeners we have in Gunnison, Colorado, and KEJJ 98.3 FM. Excited to have you along for the ride. Take our feed. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast today. Beautiful day for football here in St. George. It's right around 70 degrees. Was down on the field, plenty warm. I've heard that back in Gunnison, Colorado, they've already got some snow on the ground, so it was a beautiful place, but no offense, we're glad we're not there. On 1st down, handoff off tackle to the left. They'll cut it up in the middle. And after all that running, just a pickup of 1. Didn't quite catch the number on that, Trace. Did you see who that was? It's 25, Ty Leba.
Yeah, the tackle here is made by Trayvon Watson. He just is able to stand up Leba there right near the line of scrimmage. Only a pickup of 1, maybe 1.5.
So Western Colorado using a ton of different players offensively here at most positions. Quarterback included. Still Dylan Jacob. Sticks it in the gut of the running back of Leba. And then pulls it back out, and he'll run around the right side for close to 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 4, maybe a long 3 upcoming. And there will be one more play. Game clock at 37, play clock at 30.
Another one of those RPOs from Jacob. He just puts the ball right into the gut of Leba there, and I thought he was going to give it to him for a second. Held on to it maybe a little bit longer than he would have liked to. Able to get to the outside, but brought down by Remington Kelly there for a short pickup.
Ball at the 13, line to gain is the 17, 3rd and 4. Jacob claps his hands, get the snap, passes tipped, and not intercepted. Ball is going to hit the turf. Malaki, the linebacker, the freshman, able to tip that pass, and the ball was coming right down to him. He just couldn't quite get back under it to make the interception.
Yeah, Jacob doesn't see Malaki here. He's able to get his hands on it. Pretty easy tip drill there. Goes a little bit away from him, not able to grab it, but forces a 4th down and a punt for the Mountaineers.
Of course, a dangerous punting situation with 10 seconds remaining. Likely see Dixie State bring the house here on 4th and 13. Boyd punting from his end zone. He'll get it away quickly. No chance for a block. High arcing punt will be fielded by Xavier Smith, and he's hit immediately at the 45-yard line of Dixie State. And they're going to mark him at the 46. And you couldn't have done that any better because they held up on the tackle, and then it was catch, tackle, gave him the space he needed, brought down to the ground immediately by Western State's Darius Gaines.
Yeah, excellent job there by Garrett Boyd, the Mountaineer punter. Gets a lot of loft under the ball. That allows his gunners to get down the field and bring down the returner for basically no gain.
3.2 seconds remaining in the first quarter. This will likely be the last play of the first period, and we're scoreless up on the Chick-fil-A scoreboard. Easton Smith, your quarterback for the second consecutive drive. Luongo motioning out from the right hip, out to the right side at the numbers. Smith flushed out to the left, loads up, lofts it, catch is made, but he's out of bounds, far side, and that will end the first quarter. Casey Allison making the catch, but he's too far out of bounds to get a foot on the green grass. 15 minutes of football in the books here at Trailblazer Stadium, and we are scoreless on your Chick-fil-A scoreboard. Dixie State, nothing. Western Colorado, Let's take the 60-second timeout and come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
Council.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. 15 minutes up on the second quarter clock. Snap to Smith, fakes the pitch, and then leaves it with C.J. Luongo, and he'll pick up 2 yards. Could have been stopped in the backfield, but he gets back across the line of scrimmage. And across the line of scrimmage, 2 yards, across the 45 to the 47-yard line, second down and 8.
Yeah, you'll see Smith.
Third and 8.
You'll see Smith just kind of fake the pitch and then switch direction, gives it to Luongo up the middle. He's able to pick up 2 yards.
Third down and 8. Dixie State trying to keep this drive alive. They'll take their time on the play. Trips to the left side. Snap to Easton Smith. Pressure comes quickly. Fires to the outside, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for DeJuan Dantzler. A little bit too high. He couldn't get up to it. And another punt for the Trailblazers.
And the pressure was given by Will Lydell. That forced the ball to sail high on Easton Smith. No chance for DeJuan Dantzler to catch that when the Trailblazers will be forced to punt.
After 1 quarter of play plus 2 plays, Dixie State 85 yards of total offense, 50 yards of total offense for the Mountaineers. Trailblazers averaging 43 yards a punt as Carlson boots this one. And Nelson's just going to let it bounce. Thought about picking it up, and it'll take a Trailblazer roll inside the 10 down near the 7-yard line. Nelson thought about fielding that one, then thought better of it. Got out of there.
Yeah, I must have thought it might have bounced into the end zone. This one, however, does check up just enough to allow the Trailblazers to force the Mountaineers inside the 10-yard line for the second consecutive drive. This drive will start at the 8. Last drive started at the 6. The Trailblazer defense was able to force a 3-and-out. We'll see if they're able to do the same thing here.
7 combined possessions in this game, 7 punts. Who will break this scoreless draw? We'll find out. Another 90-plus yard field for the Mountaineers. They start at their own 8-yard line. Teams flip directions now. It will be Western Colorado moving left to right. That's north to south. They'll leave it with the big fullback. He goes for a couple of yards and no more. Second down and 8.
Yeah, that's Brian Evans, just as a dive up the middle, is able to get a few yards, but brought down right near the line of scrimmage. Just gets just across the 10-yard line. You'll see it here. Able to make a few guys miss and power forward for 3 yards.
On second down at 7. They'll swing to the left side, and a hit is made immediately. It goes nowhere. In fact, loses 3 yards back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and 10 as they swung it to the left side, and a hit was there immediately.
Tremendous play from Darren Jones. He sniffs this play out, just blows by the blocker designed to pick him up, and able to blow this one up way in the backfield.
Like they're going to, where that ball is marked, they're marking a loss of 4. So it'll be third down and 11. Well, now they move it back the other side. Third down and 9. They can't decide where to mark it. Third and 9 officially. 2 receivers to either side and are lined up in single file formation. Jacob, pressure coming. He's brought down and just in front of their own end zone at the 2-yard line. No safety, but a punt from the back of the end zone forthcoming for the Mountaineers.
And that was Nazi Salih, the first one to get there from the Trailblazer defensive line. You'll see coming in from the right side of your screen there, able to trip him up. And then Wes Moai able to finish him off right near the goal line.
Garrett Boyd standing right at the back of the end zone, making sure his heels are not out of bounds. He'll get this punt away. It'll be fielded on the Trailblazer side, the Mountaineer side of the 50. A fair catch made by Xavier Smith, but the best field position of the day for the Trailblazers as they start at the Western Colorado 44-yard line.
Yeah, good punt here just by Garrett Boyd, able to just get this one off. Kind of just had to hurry and rush it as he was backed up inside his own end zone. But a decent punt. Trailblazers will take over first and 10 at the Mountaineer 44-yard line.
Of course, we'll give you some RMAC updates during our InfoWest halftime report. A lot of good games on the docket today. Mike Sanders back in as your Dixie State quarterback. Both teams kind of go back and forth between their 2 quarterbacks that have different skill sets. Sanders back in on first down. Blitz coming. He gets rid of it to Say out of the backfield. Makes the catch, gets a block across the 40, 35-30. First down and then some. A pickup of close to 15 yards on the pitch and catch from Mike Sanders to Say Luongo.
Yeah, screenplay run here to Luongo. A very good job by Sanders, able to avoid the rush here. You'll see Luongo just turn around. Sanders finds him. Luongo able to bring him in, and a big pickup on first down for the Trailblazers.
Clock rolling, 12:05 to go in the second quarter. Dixie State approaching the Intermountain red zone for the first time today. Pistol formation with Luongo behind Sanders in the shotgun. Empty on the left side. Trips to the far side. Handoff to Say Luongo, and he is blown up in the backfield. He loses near 4 yards.
Mark Zavala, we've called his name a lot on
Who
this the first quarter plus, and he's able to just get there unblocked off the left side of the formation and bring Luongo down for a loss of 4.
Well, Zavala, that'll be his 10th tackle for loss of the season. Snap to Sanders. Swings it inside. Xavier Smith making the catch, and he'll dance away from a few defenders. Gets it back across the original line of scrimmage, and is brought down to the middle of the field just shy of the 25-yard line. At least it'll be third and manageable now. It'll be third and a long, it looks like, for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, and a good job here by Smith just to follow his blockers out. Just kind of comes right off the backside of his blockers, able to pick up a handful of yards.
Well, I just saw a screenshot. New Mexico Highlands is at Black Hill State in South Dakota today, and there's snow on the ground. Dixie State grateful they made their trip out to South Dakota before that weather arrived. Beautiful here. Snap to Sanders. Pass is made, and it's a batted ball. That should be an incomplete pass. That should not be a fumble, and it will be an incomplete pass, but they waited forever and a day to blow the play dead.
Incomplete. What down? Fourth down.
Yeah, so you'll see here penetration. That is tough to see a number on that. That looks like number 35 for the Mountaineers. That's Darius Gaines who gets his hand up and knocked that one back in the backfield.
It's 4th down and 6, but the ball is at the 25-yard line. So you're looking at about a 42-yard field goal attempt from where the ball is at this point. And Dixie State is going to keep the offense on the field. They're making a late change. They may have to burn a timeout. They're going to. Play clock down to 3, 2, 1. They will burn a timeout with 10:31 to go. They'll
Timeout, Dixie State. First timeout of the half.
have the opportunity to decide whether to kick it or whether to go for it. They'll take a 30-second timeout, just a 30. Come right back to Trailblazer Stadium on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium, 10:31. State facing a 4th and 6 from the Mountaineer 25-yard line, but decision time, and they're going to send the offense back out on to the field. A.J. Jurgensen so far in the kicking game, just 2 of 8 on field goals, and a long of 29 yards. So 42-yard field goal is not what head coach Shane McClure and offensive coordinator Blake Rowland want to do. Connor Miller is in at receiver. Look for him to get involved on this 4th down play. Sanders will swing it inside, and they're going to go hook and ladder. Say Luongo inside the 10, 5, and he's knocked out of bounds. What a play. Xavier Smith made the catch, tossed it back to Say Luongo, and he takes it inside the 10 down to the 7.
And what a play call from Shane McClure here in the offense. You'll see here, pass just goes a quick screen to the right to Smith, and then he pitches to Luongo, and he gets a lot of yards near the sideline and sets up Dixie State 1st and goal inside the 10.
Yeah, that's too bad that didn't go for a touchdown. We would have had another NCAA Division II football top plays nominee. Trent Darms is in at quarterback, so the 3rd quarterback of the day for Dixie State. They'll snap to Darms. Read option. He's going to keep it. Right side, 5. And knocked out of bounds at the 5. He'll pick up 2 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and goal from, they're going to give him more than just 2. They're down to the 3. So 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, you'll see just an RPO from Darms here. Fakes the ball. Looks like they're to Luongo. And just gets the outside. Gets a good block there from Cody Hobbs, the tight end. Able to put this one inside the 5-yard line.
Dixie State's first trip inside the Intermountain red zone so far this season. Dixie State converting at a 78% clip inside the red zone. They'll leave it with CJ Luongo, and he's blown up. He'll lose a yard. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 5.
Penetration from Desmond Marfizo off the left side of the formation. You'll see here just comes virtually unblocked and is able to wrap Luongo up, bring him down for a loss in the backfield. Loss of 2 yards on the play.
A 3rd and goal from the 5 coming into this game. Dixie State was converting at a 35% clip on 3rd down. They'll make some changes. Xavier Smith back into the game. He's been kind of your playmaker today. But look for Xavier Smith to get involved. Although you do have Casey Allison. Mike Sanders is now your quarterback again. Look for a Sanders to Casey Allison hook up in the end zone. Flags fly. And it's going to be, whenever you see it's going to be false start.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Kyle Whiteside's the freshman jumping before that play started. Now it's gone from 3rd and a lot in the playbook to 3rd and goal from the 10.
And that might not be such a bad thing. It gives the receivers a little bit more room to work with in the end zone. A lot of times you see when you're inside the 5, you don't have a lot of room to work with. The defense is there with their heels in the end zone. We'll see if that works out for him here.
Casey Allison split out wide. He got one-on-one for Casey Allison on the left side. Sanders, pressure coming. He's looking for Allison, and he can't make the catch. Some contact maybe before the ball got there, but it's incomplete. And now a field goal try for Dixie State.
And it was Sadie Sambunu on the penetration there for the Mountaineer defense. A good job you'll see here just to get right inside Sanders' face, and the ball sails high. And it'll force a field goal attempt for the Trailblazers.
This will be a 27-yard field goal right hash for A.J. Jurgensen to try to give Dixie State the lead. The snap, the hold, the kick, pulled it a little left, but still splits the uprights, and Dixie State has taken the lead. On your Chick-fil-A scoreboard, Dixie State 3, Western Colorado nothing, 8:17 to go in the second. We take a 60-second timeout and come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. A.J. Jurgensen put the foot into this one. Doc Nelson. Stutter step. It's through the first line of defense. Across the 20 and will be tackled at the 21-yard line. That's where the Mountaineers will take over. Jason, what did you see out of that drive? Obviously, you wanted 7 points, but Dixie State at least will settle for 3 points and the lead. What did you see in that drive that you liked that maybe Dixie State hasn't been able to do so far?
Well, I think they were just able to execute a little bit better than they had previously so far in the game. Obviously, they were aided by that hook and ladder play on 4th down to get them inside the goal line. But I want to see them be able to get the run game going a little bit more character. That's been one of the things that hasn't quite gotten going yet so far in the game. That's why I want to see them work on going forward in the rest of the half.
8:08 to go until halftime. RMAC update. Adams State 21-20 lead at South Dakota Mines. Still a full quarter to go until halftime. On 1st down, Jacob will leave it with the tailback, Leba. He'll dive into the pile. In fact, loses a couple yards. 2nd down and 12 upcoming for Western.
And a good play here from Anthony Yarbrough. Is able to sniff this one out. Doesn't bite on the RPO and is able to bring the running back down there for a loss of 2 in the backfield.
Adams State, one of the most prolific offenses, as I just gave you that update, in the nation right now in Division II. They just put up big numbers. Dixie State won't play them till the final week of the season. Leba, another carry off tackle to the left side on 2nd down, and he'll dive across the original line of scrimmage and get a couple more. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, just a little off tackle play here for Leba. Is able to get down to the outside, cut it up the middle, and is able to get back past the line of scrimmage, and it'll force 3rd down and 8 for the Mountaineers.
Twins to either side, 2 receivers right and left for Dylan Jacob. Leba at the right hip of the quarterback in the shotgun. Jacob will roll out to his right. Flag flies, and he's going to be brought down and drug out of bounds by Trayvon Watson.
And I think you're going to see
some sort of a chop block maybe.
Play.
Yeah.
As far as I know, a chop block can't only be called when there is a defender already engaged with a blocker, and then you chop his legs out. We'll see what the call here is from the referee.
I was following Jacob, and all of a sudden you saw kind of a collision, an explosion, red and white. Here comes the call from the field.
It'll likely be declined, the penalty.
If it's against Western Colorado.
Legal block against the offense, number 25. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Yeah, it certainly was the case. We're going to see it here. Yeah, he went down low and got him.
Not sure if
for my maybe untrained eye, at least to that particular rule.
And I think the rule,
I didn't see much wrong with that block.
I think the rule is that you're only able to go low inside the tackle box. I think once you get outside the tackle box, the rule is you cannot take a defender's legs out when you're outside of that tackle box, as was the case there.
You need to do a little bit more rule book studying between these next football seasons. Garrett Boyd will get a punt away, nearly blocked. Xavier Smith going to let it bounce across the 50. It'll take a little bit of a Mountaineer roll inside the 45 down to the...
Number 47 is off the field from the helmet coming off. He's off for one play.
So it'll be at the Dixie State 43-yard line. And if that's Dixie State 47, as you heard, the helmet came off, that's Malaki. He won't be in an offense anyway. I didn't see which side the helmet came on. I didn't even see too many collisions to where a helmet could have popped off. Dixie State back out onto the field. Mike Sanders will be the quarterback. Pistol formation, empty on the right side. 2 receivers near side. It's A.J. Luongo lined up directly behind Sanders in the shotgun. Snap to Sanders. Leads with Say-J. He's wrapped up, and he fights out of a tackle and then brought down again. Big loss. We're going to call it a loss of 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 16.
It was Trayvon Rhodes from the Mountaineer defense, the first to get there and hang up and make C.J. Long kind of just stand up there. He's able to get his foot free and then brought down from behind. Hard to get a number there. That's number 44 of the Mountaineers, Quincy Campbell.
6:10 to play. Saw Grand Valley State do something very similar defensively last week, and they're bringing heavy pressure each time with Sanders in the backfield and quarterback. Sanders is going to be sacked right on cue. A delayed blitz from the right side, and he's brought down a huge loss. It'll be 3rd down and forever. Mike Sanders is up, moving gingerly. And it'll be 3rd down, like I said, and forever on this play.
And that's Darius Gaines, a redshirt freshman for the Mountaineers, just coming unblocked, a blitz there from the backside of Sanders, able to bring him down.
Very well disguised blitz, delayed blitz from that right side, and now it's 3rd down and 20. Snap to Sanders. They'll go conservative and give to Say-J. Breaks through a couple of holes, still on his feet across the 35, but tackled before he can get back to the original line of scrimmage. And Dixie State will have to punt with 5:10 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, sometimes hard to stay conservative when you give C.J. Luongo the ball because he does have that ability to break out for a big gain. This one not able to do that, however, but does pick up a couple of yards. It makes it a little bit more of a manageable punt. 4th down from the 36-yard line.
Carlson set to punt from his own 23-yard line. Nelson, you can see him like Xavier Smith on the Dixie State side, shielding the sun. The punt is blocked and recovered immediately. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. That ball never squirted out anywhere. I think the Western Colorado player who blocked it just caught it.
Yeah, this is number 51, Robert Garlock. He's able to just get in there and just catches it right there as he's blocking the punt simultaneously. A tremendous break for the Mountaineers. They'll take over inside Trailblazer territory, 1st down and 10 at the 25-yard line.
So 4:35 to go until halftime. Western Colorado will also have the second half kickoff. It'll be Jacob bringing the troops out on the field for the Mountaineers. And fakes the fly sweep. Quarterback keeper up the middle, brought down by Remington Kelly. After a pickup of, what do they give him? 2 yards, 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, just faked a little bit of a jet sweep here. That's that's 18, Jordan Barton coming in motion. Jacob keeps this one, runs it up the middle for a couple of yards before being brought down by Remington Kelly.
Big fullback, Tremel Stanley, 5'7", 220-pounder out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, is your running back at this point. Pistol formation. They'll fake it to Stanley. Pass to the outside, completed the numbers, and brought down immediately right at the marker. I think it's going to be enough for the 1st down.
And there's Jordan Barton out there in the flat. He just gets out there, waits for the play action pass to develop, and then just kind of stands there right there another 20. He's able to get out to the outside and pick up enough yards for about 8 yards
they're
or
move him back.
7 yards or so. Gets up to about the
Maybe 3rd and 1.
The 18-yard line, forces 3rd and 1.
I thought it looked like they had him marked for the first down. Cameron Shumway is in at quarterback. 3rd and 1 from the 16. Design quarterback keeper. He's got it around the end. Only needed 1 yard, and he's not super fast. But he rumbles around the right. He's big, though, like you mentioned earlier in the game. 6'6", 230-pounder. If you only need a yard, I mean, you get that thing chugging, and it's going to be hard to bring Shumway down, and he'll get the first down and then jog across the field and out.
And we've seen them do that a lot this time in 3rd down in short situations. Bring in Shumway, a guy that's tough to bring down. It's got enough movement to be able to make plays like that, but tough to bring down in a short yardage situation like that.
You played a little high school basketball against Cameron Shumway, if I'm not
mistaken. Certainly did. Yeah, he played at San Juan High School. I played at Gunnison High School. A little bit of a fun rivalry we had there.
They're going to go reverse and look for the pass, and it is out of bounds and incomplete. So a lot going on that play. A handoff, then a reverse handoff, and a receiver. You've seen that play a couple of times, even kind of big-time college football this year as well. And the receiver, that's Gillespie, looking back for Jacob, the quarterback, and he threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, a little bit of what we've heard of a bunch of times.
Philly special?
What's that? Philly special, the Philly, that one.
Yep.
But able to be sniffed out pretty well. I think that was Trayvon Watson who was able to sniff that one out, had the coverage on Jacob there to force the errant pass.
After that big game where the Eagles won that championship, you've seen a lot of teams, a lot of levels. Yarbrough forcing an errant pass. It's tipped and incomplete on 2nd down. Anthony Yarbrough got past everybody, and Dylan Jacob was running for his life, had to get rid of it off the hand of one of his receivers and nearly intercepted on the far side.
And that play had tip drill written all over it. You got the pressure from Yarborough forcing Jacob out of the pocket, has to throw across his body, tipped, and if not for that tip, Trayvon Watson would have been right there.
He might have had a pick six
for the interception, and he would have only had Jacob to beat in the backfield. And I like the chances of Trayvon Watson there against their quarterback.
3rd down and 12. There is a first down available at the 2-yard line. Jacob, slant route, inside catch made at the 5, and he'll dive across the marker for the first down to the 1.
Yeah, this is just a good play by the Mountaineers offense right here. Again, that's Jordan Barton. He knows right where the first down is, able to run his post right to that route. Right to that yardage marker, makes the pass, dives forward, and make sure he gets the first down, rather than trying to stretch it out and go into the end zone. Maybe you reach the ball to that goal line, you could force a fumble.
I formation. They'll hand off to the fullback, Stanley, and he powers his way in. They hustled up to the line, went I formation, and Stanley powers it up and in to the end zone. And Western Colorado has taken the 6-3 lead here in the second quarter with 2:08 to play until halftime.
Yeah, you just give it off here to your big fullback there in the backfield, Stanley. He's a tough guy to bring down, as you mentioned. They're able to punch it in for the touchdown, and we'll have the opportunity to take a 7-3 lead with the completion of this extra point.
Now, Chandler Davis has missed 3 extra points so far this season. The left-footed kicker puts it up, and he pulled it right. He missed it. No, he got it. Boy, oh boy. From this angle, it looked like he missed it, but he snuck it in there.
It looked like you might have pulled it right, but from our angle, it's kind of tough to see.
Yeah, we're looking down so we don't have the best angle, so I got a little antsy on the call. My apologies. He hits it. 7-3, Western Colorado lead with 2:08 to go until halftime. Let's do this. We won't take a 60, but we'll take a 30-second timeout and come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Trailblazer Stadium. 2:08 to go until halftime. Western Colorado taking a 7-3 lead. Dixie State, though, with 2 minutes to work with. As Davis puts a foot into this kick, and it's into the end zone 2 yards deep, brought out by Isaiah Wooden. Spinning out of a tackle and brought down at the 25-yard line. And that is where Dixie State will start. Trailblazer players slow to get up. Trying to see who that is.
Officials timeout due to injury.
We got an injury timeout. We'll keep it right here. We just took a timeout. Trainer will jog out onto the field. That's Bruno Silva. He likes it when we give him shout-outs, so we'll give him a shout-out on the air. He does great work and really, I think it is Trent Darms once again. Darms on first down. Pressure comes. Fires to the outside. Catch is made by Xavier Smith. Skips the tackler and then brought down. It looked like it could have been by the face mask. No flag thrown. Xavier Smith asking for it. But it'll be a 7-yard pickup on the play.
And just a little out route. Darms is able to find Smith out here. He just gets open, makes one guy miss, tries to spin out of another.
No, that's the shoulder. And then the hand comes late. Bad snap. Darms is going to have to dive on it on first down. And a huge loss as that snap got past Trent Darms. And it's third down and about a mile to go here.
Yeah, the snap was good. I think Darms just took his eyes off it, was looking downfield to see what was developing.
Maybe he wasn't expecting the snap quite yet.
Perhaps.
And that can happen sometimes when you play 3 different quarterbacks and the center maybe has a little bit different, chemistry with each of those 3 quarterbacks. It can happen sometimes. Third and a quarter mile to go here, and Trent Darms is brought down on third down. It'll have to be a punt. Western's going to take a timeout, and I don't blame them. You got 55 seconds to go here. If you can, block another punt, you could maybe punch another one in here before halftime.
Timeout Western, first timeout of the half.
Just first down.
Clock should read 57 seconds on the game clock. 57 seconds, please.
First down play was good, and then the train just came off the rails on that drive. Now Dixie State got to be focused on giving Carlson enough time to get the ball away and get into halftime trailing just 7-3.
Yeah, and give credit to the Mountaineers. They have been able to. One of the things we said in the pregame show, Carrick, the Trailblazers' offensive line has allowed a lot of penetration today from the Mountaineers. That's been able to kind of limit the amount of ground yards that they've been able to pick up, limiting the rush game. And because of that, obviously, Trailblazers have to rely on the pass a little bit more heavily. They have completed a few passes, but a lot of it just been not being able to block the defensive line for the Mountaineers. Let's give them credit. That's why they have a 7-3 lead.
Dixie State, 113 yards of total offense, just 62 yards of total offense for Western Colorado. For the Mountaineers, a 7-3 lead. And they don't have anybody back to return this punt, Drayson. They're bringing the house.
They are bringing the house.
They'll get it away, and it's going to take a Dixie State bounce down inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line, and Western nearly got to that punt as well, but they were dead set on trying to block another punt. They almost got to it. And now it'll be first down and 10 for the Mountaineers at their own 17-yard line.
And a good job by Carlson, making sure that he cannot have this punt blocked, just gets this one off. Fortunately for him, takes a great bounce, rolls down inside the 20.
Lower scoring game for Dixie State inside Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference than we're used to. Had some shootouts here at home, including that 51-47 game against South Dakota Mines a couple of weeks ago. 7-3. Certainly doesn't look like a formation that Western's just going to come out and kneel on it. Snap to Jacob. They'll leave it with Leyba, the tailback, off tackle to the left side, and he'll pick up 10 yards and a first down. 39 ticks remaining. Western still got both timeouts. And the clock rolls after the ball is spotted. 34 seconds remaining. Jacob gets the troops back to the field. 2-step drop. Fires inside, passes juggled and dropped by Barton. Incomplete, second down and 10.
Yeah, Barton was able to get his hands on it, but then as he's going to the ground, drops it. The ball hits the ground, and that makes the pass incomplete there. You see, just kind of bobbles it there towards the end. Once the ball hits the ground, play is over.
In fact, the referees behind him might not even have noticed that if the hands don't come out like you're trying to. Now you've got trips to the near side, lined up behind one another. Jacob able to get out away from pressure, rolls out to his left, and he'll just step out of bounds. Nothing there on second down, and he wisely takes it out of bounds. It was an interesting formation with all 3 receivers lined up in a line on that right side. Nothing comes of it. And he spun away from Kyle Murray. Murray gets in there first.
Yeah, a couple guys forcing some pressure there on Jacob, force him out of the pocket. Good job by the defensive line of the Trailblazers.
19.2 seconds remaining. Big snap to Jacob. Read option. He'll keep it. And he gets a block around the left end. He's going to go out of bounds just shy of the marker.
Number 42 from Dixie is out for one play due to a helmet violation.
Wes Moyai loses the helmet. He'll miss this play I believe it should be 4th down, and they're going to say he went out of
Please
bounds.
reset the clock to 13 seconds even. 13 seconds even.
13 seconds even. Getting a little feedback on that ref mic. Apologize for that. 13 seconds remaining, and it's 4th and 2. Now Garrett Boyd will punt this away, and I bet you he's going to want to punt it away from Xavier Smith. Instead, he punts right at Smith. Smith makes the fair catch across the 30 to the 34-yard line, and that's where Dixie State will take over. And I would be shocked to see the Trailblazers do anything but just kneel on it.
Maybe
who knows? Maybe a trick play.
Maybe a situation where now that you've already burned this one, maybe run a hook and ladder like you did a few drives ago. But maybe that you've burned that one, you might not have that one in your playbook anymore. But maybe a play that you could see him go downfield. But more than likely, they will probably just kneel on this one.
Or say Jay Luongo's in there at running back. We've seen him make a halfback pass for a touchdown in his career here at Dixie State. Usually won't see that unless he motions out to the left, though. And he's starting on the right side. Not going to see it here. He'll swing it to the left side. Xavier Smith going to get a block across the 40, 45, 50, and he'll step out of bounds across the 50 with 2.3 seconds remaining. Coach McClure asking for a little bit of time to be put back up on the clock. He said, you gave them more time 2 different times. Now we're asking for a couple extra seconds.
This does set you up.
He's going to get it.
Set you up a little bit better if you do want to throw Hail Mary into the end zone. This one just thrown out of the flat to Smith. He's able to get across the 50 and out of bounds to give one last play for the Trailblazers in this half if they choose to go into the end zone.
It'll be 1st and 10. Ball at the Mountaineer 46-yard line. They're going to drop 5 guys back in the backfield and only bring a couple. Darm spins away from one defender and is brought down by another, and that'll end the first half. Boy, they only brought 2. And one of those 2 gets to him and makes the sack. It's been that kind of half for Dixie State.
Yeah, 2 guys in the backfield. This one's number 95, Mark Zavala again. We've brought his name up a bunch in the first half. He's been able to get into the backfield there.
He even fought off a hold.
And brings down Darm to end the first half.
30 minutes of football in the books. And boy, I'll tell you, this is a lot lower scoring than I imagined it being, and I think that's exactly how Western State wants this game to be at this point. Western Colorado, excuse me, I said in the pregame show that I'll probably just revert back to Western State because they've just recently dropped the state from their name. Western Colorado leading at 7-3. We've got 20 minutes up on the halftime clock. So tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take the full 5-minute timeout. Again, yes, that for you, those of you back in the KEJJ 98.3 FM radio studio, that is a 5-minute timeout. On our radio side, on Radio Dixie 91.3, we'll send it back to Martin. He'll take about a 10-minute halftime show there and let you know what's going on inside the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. And then after the 5-minute timeout here on the TV side, we'll bring it back and start breaking things down, and we will be good to go. So back to Martin in the Radio Dixie 91.3 FM studio. Take it away, Martin. On the TV side, let's take that 5-minute timeout. We'll come back after this on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome to the Trailblazer pregame show. Welcome to the Trailblazer halftime show here on Radio Dixie 91.3. Appreciate that introduction, Carrick. Always fun to get a game in with you guys over at the stadium. Let's jump into real quick here with our score. It is 7-3 at halftime with Dixie State trailing Western State at half. Right now, Dixie State looking a little sloppy in the game so far. Not what we expected. We expected much more from Dixie State. Of course, Carrick brought it up earlier in his broadcast. We have had shootouts in the last 3 games. Dixie State has been down in the last 2 home games, but they both came back to win those. Maybe they can spark this comeback in them again. It would be not a surprise. This team is known for coming back in games. They had to come back twice at home, as I said. They had to come back on the road against Black Hill. Not against Black Hill. They did have to come back in Black Hill State, but that was not at half. That was late in the fourth quarter in that game. Hopefully they can get something going here as we look at the numbers here. Rushing yards, they have -15 on the run, with Western State having 49 yards on their side of the ball. Passing the ball, it has just been better for Dixie State. They have passed the ball for a total of 136 yards for 17 attempts and only 9 catches. And for Western State, it has been 32 yards. We're 5 out of 11 attempts for them in the passing as well. Looking at some individual numbers here real quick, Dixie State has thrown in all three of their quarterbacks in the game. None of them have really succeeded very well. Michael Sanders started the game. He's 6 for 12 with 50% of his completions with 92 yards. Easton Smith has come in for 1 for 3. He has 33% completion with only 16 yards. And Trent Darns came in for the last couple plays there. He's 2 for 2 for 28 yards. Looking at Western Colorado on their numbers, they've thrown obviously both quarterbacks they have on their roster as well. Gillespie is 0 for 1. It really wasn't much of an attempt, but Jacobs, was 5 for 10, 32 yards. He's completed 50% of his passes. Again, this is a sloppy game from Dixie State. I don't know what's going to have to take them to wake up. Again, this team is known for coming back. Let's see if they can come back in this game as well. As you look at some other numbers coming out of the Rocky Mountain, of course, one game so far that is almost close into the books. Colorado School of Mines on top of Fort Lewis, 37-7, with about 6:20 left to go in the third quarter. There, they are piling on the numbers on top of that. Of course, Colorado School of Mines comes in undefeated, 6-0, number 1 in RMAC play. We'll get into some scenarios. If you didn't listen to my Trailblazer pregame show earlier, we'll get into some scenarios later in this broadcast here of what could happen. But let's get into the numbers. Colorado School of Mines running away with 104 yards on the ground, and they have 276 yards through the air. Fort Lewis only has 60 yards on the ground and 88 yards through the pass. They are struggling up there. We got a good football game for you. Just about a minute 30 left to go in the second quarter until halftime. Adams State and South Dakota Mines are tied up at 28 overall. This game affects the scenario situation for Dixie State also in the standings. Adams State sitting at 4-2. Still a possibility chance for them to get back in the hunt for the conference championship. Colorado School of Mines trying to throw their hat into the ring. South Dakota Mines. I'm going to get the South Dakota and Colorado Mines schools so mixed up throughout my time here at Dixie State. They're trying to throw their hat in the ring as well. They're sitting at 3-3 on the record. So far, School of Mines is running up the yardage on them. They have 314 yards on the rush. What an incredible number that is. I've never seen that before in my life. We'll see if that continues with them. They also have 81 yards through the pass on 4 of 11 attempts. Adams State only has 94 yards on the ground. That is not bad for them. They're averaging just about 5 yards on attempt, and they're throwing the ball for 197. They're averaging just about 12 yards on attempt out of 16 for 20 attempts there. Also, another game on the schedule. It is Black Hills State versus New Mexico Highlands. This game is getting out a little control. This game is just about going into the second quarter with about 11 minutes to go. Black Hills State on top right now, 21-7, looking for their first win of the season. Of course, New Mexico Highlands was here a couple weeks ago when they were up against Dixie State. They have fallen far from that point of time. They were 2-1 coming into that. They have fallen to 2-4 on the record. They're looking to get back on track here and possibly try to get something out of this season. Black Hills State has 95 yards on the ground. New Mexico Highlands has 65 yards on the ground. Passing yards for Black Hills State, they have 75 yards through the air. New Mexico Highlands only has 8. Looking at some other games that are going to be going on later today in football. Let's take a look. Football games on later today. One other game will only be, it is going to be Colorado Mesa versus Colorado State Pueblo. That game will be taken on in a couple minutes here. We will definitely be looking at that matchup. Again, we're going to be talking about scenarios coming up here in a minute here on Radio Dixie 91.3. We do have to take our first time out here on the Trailblazer halftime show. We will come back after 1 minute here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to the Trailblazer halftime show here on Radio Dixie 91.3 as we are continuing our live coverage of Western Colorado Mountaineers versus Dixie State Trailblazers. As of again, we are at halftime right here. Western Colorado leading 7-3 on top of Dixie State. Now, I did mention the scenarios that are going to go down in the RMAC play for the conference championship. This is how it stands right now in the standings. Colorado School of Mines on top with a 6-0 record in RMAC play, with a 6-0 overall record in overall record for them. CSU Pueblo sets in 4-1 on RMAC play. They sit at 5-1 overall on their record. Dixie State is tied with them because of their RMAC record. They're 4-1 in RMAC and 4-2 overall in their scenario. Adams State, Chadron State are both tied for third in their conference. They're tied at 4-2 in RMAC play and 4-2 overall, while Colorado Mesa sits in at 3-2 in RMAC play, but they're sitting at 4-2 overall. Right there, that's where the cutoff line is. Of course, if South Dakota Mines wins their football game, they might possibly be able to throw their hat in the ring. New Mexico Highlands and Fort Lewis, Western, and Black Hills State are all eliminated from contention for the conference championship. So this is how it sits for about the first 4 teams, with Adams State, Dixie State, Colorado State Pueblo, and Colorado School of Mines. If Colorado School of Mines wins right out and CSU Pueblo wins outright, meaning both teams win their last games on their schedule, they will meet in the conference championship. Whoever wins that will go to the playoffs. Possibly Pueblo, if they sit on a good overall record, they will go to the playoffs as well. With Dixie State, this is how it sits for them. They must win out the rest of their season. They must win out from this game until Adams State, which is the final game of the season for them. If they win out those games, beat Colorado School of Mines, they will meet Colorado School of Mines in the conference championship with them. They will meet them there, and they will possibly play for a chance to go to the playoffs and be the RMAC champions. That would be an impressive moment for this team. For Adams State, here's how they have to play it. They have to also win out. They have to win out from this point on until the rest of their season. They would have to have Dixie State and Pueblo lose. If Colorado School of Mines loses, that does not affect them. But if Dixie State and Pueblo loses one time and Adams State outwins and has a better record in RMAC play, they will get the bid to go play for the conference championship. Obviously, if Colorado School of Mines loses, if they go on a complete losing streak and they fall out, then that completely throws in another monkey wrench into all the plans for all those teams. But like I said before, this is starting to get interesting later down the road. If Dixie State, again, if they win out from here on out, beat Colorado School of Mines November 3rd here at Trailblazer Stadium for the homecoming game, they will meet Mines in a conference championship, and we will have a possibility of playing for that championship. This is starting to get down to the wire. Every game from here on out on Dixie State's schedule matters. They have no more after today against Western. Western is the last losing team they have on their schedule. From here on out, Chadron State 4-2, Colorado Mesa 4-2, Colorado School of Mines 6-0, and then Adams State is the final game of the season. They're 4-2. So there's not a team where you can slack and say, okay, they're a losing team. We can kind of take them seriously. Maybe we can escape with a win. From here on out, they got to win every game, and they're going to be playing some good competition from here on out. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout break here and be right back with more here on Trailblazer Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
We are now going to kick it back out to Carrick Sagmiller and Jason Ball for the rest of the game here on Radio Dixie 91.3. Let's kick it out to them right now.
Welcome back inside the booth, Trailblazer Stadium. Thank you, Mark, on the radio side, for taking care of us the first half of our InfoWest halftime report. We are back on the Triplecast TV, radio, and internet. We also welcome our listeners in from Gunnison, Colorado on KEJJ 98.3 FM. Drayson Ball back in the broadcast booth. Did you get a little lunch? You get a little food in you there? Appreciate Campus Dining helping us out, getting us some lunch up here in the booth. We got some food in our bellies, and we're ready for the second half of football. Drayson, your thoughts on the first half, and we'll bring up that keys to the game graphic here in just a moment. But your thoughts, let me know what you saw in that first half and maybe what Dixie State can do better in the second.
Well, for me, it comes down to a couple of things, Carrick. First off, the running game. That's one of the things the Trailblazers have to get going in the second half. Only 15 yards on the ground so far in today's game. Obviously, you mentioned earlier in the halftime show, a lot of that due to some sacks and some things like that. Say, dude, Luongo, you're leading rusher for 23 yards, but you got to be able to establish that ground game to be able to propel your offense. And then secondly, you got to keep the Mountaineers out of your backfield. That's prohibiting both your run game and your pass game. We've seen a lot of pressure from the Mountaineers' defensive line. They've been able to get into the backfield and disrupt a lot of plays for the Trailblazers. That's one of the keys. If you can keep the Mountaineers out of your backfield, that'll open up the ground game. It'll also open up the pass game. I think that'll allow your offense to get clicking going into the second half.
Let's bring up that keys to the game graphic from the pregame if we could, and we can kind of grade out those Mountain America keys to the game. We didn't get a whole lot of time to break that down in the pregame show anyway, and there they are right there. Play smart, establish the run game, and sound defensively. Play smart. This Dixie State team to this point has only been penalized one time. They have not turned the ball over. They did have a blocked punt, so there was a missed assignment there somewhere. But I'm thinking in terms of penalties and turnovers and that. And so I would grade that. I think they're right around an A on play smart. They've done an excellent job in the first half. How about establishing the run game? You just brought that up. So Dixie State with only 15 yards of rushing in the first half. Of course, again, that is a little deceiving. The sacks that have gone, at least 20-plus yards of sacks have taken some yardage off that. But really, other than 2 long runs by C.J. Luongo of 10 and 11 yards, they've not been able to get that run game going. So we got to grade that out. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh, but, they're hovering around that C's get degrees area, and you need to be up around, B+, A-, A work in order for this offense to do what it wants to do.
Yeah, that's certainly one of the keys that I have going into this second half, Carrick. And obviously, you can do that in several ways. C.J. Luongo obviously is going to be your primary rusher, but Lawrence Starks, you got to get him going as well. If you can have a multifaceted run game, and then bounce in a couple of RPO options there with say like Easton Smith, maybe even Trent Darms. If you get that kind of offense going where the defense can't key in on just one guy, if you have 2 or 3 guys able to do that, you got a good chance to establish that ground game.
Dixie State trailing 7-3 at halftime. The third key was sound defense. And obviously you've held Western Colorado under 100 yards of total offense. I think, you're right about A range there. The couple of things that they've seen, we've had a couple chances at tip drill interceptions that Dixie State has just not been able to finish off. I mean, you can't really fault the guy for that, but those are the types of plays that really swing things. You force some fumbles you've not been able to recover. They've got it in the second half, not only force those turnovers, but actually get them and make the most of those opportunities.
Yeah, and your defense has been good so far this game, and obviously you have a good chance to come out and continue that dominance with this kick in the third quarter in the second half. You're going to go on defense right away as the Trailblazers are going to kick this one off to begin the second half. You can put your defense right back out on the field, which has been your strong suit so far today. I'd like to see the Trailblazers get an immediate 3-and-out and then get that ground game and that offense going immediately and make a statement here coming out of halftime.
Now let's play football. 15 minutes up on the third quarter clock. InfoWest halftime report in the books. Back deep to receive Rodre Perkins and Josh Nilson. It'll be Nilson at the 3-yard line. Angling left, gets a block. Can he turn the corner? One-on-one with the Dixie State defender, and I believe that's DeJuan Dantzler, able to dive and undercut him, but he gets across the 40 to the 42-yard line. A big return by Josh Nilson.
And a good start here in the second half for the Mountaineers. You see here the return guy just kind of gets out to the outside, is able to have a lot of room to run. Has a lot of green grass ahead of him. You'll see here just returns it there from the 3. Immediately looks to cut it up, but then he gets out to the outside, gets a couple of key blocks, and is able to get across the 35 up to the 40, and that's where they'll start the drive at the 42-yard line for the Mountaineers. Carrick had to just step out for just a second. He's back with me as we get this the second half going.
Thanks for covering for me for just a minute. Read option. Jacob going to keep it on first down. Fools everybody except for Alex Lilliard. He's able to make the tackle, but not before he gains 4 yards. And Western Colorado, a good start with a good kick return, and then a good play on first down. You got 2nd and 6 for the Mountaineers.
And a good fake there from Jacob to Leba is able to force that play and bring it back down.
Cameron Shumway in at quarterback. Read option. He's going to do the same thing. The ball comes loose, and Dixie State has recovered it. I believe Dixie State has recovered it. Indeed, they have. Referee signaling the Trailblazers' way right on cue. We just talked about not only forcing the turnovers, but being able to capitalize and recover as well, and they do that here.
Yeah, a great play here. You'll see Cameron Shumway just lets that ball get a little bit far away from his body. That's Shiloh Pritchard. Looks like to force the fumble. Can't get a number on there who recovered it. But a good start for this Trailblazer defense. Gets right out on the field for their offense. Well, hopefully they get them going.
So Pritchard forces the fumble and then recovered by Dixie State. Again, it was a big scrum. Couldn't quite see exactly who it was. It might have been Abraham Reinhardt that recovered it. Either way, Dixie State back out onto the field. It's Easton Smith, and he'll fumble it. And Seiji Luongo able to dive on it. A loss of 5. 2nd down and 15 upcoming. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, this is just looked like a kind of another similar play we saw in the first half. Maybe a good snap. Maybe just took his eyes off it. But this play, fortunately for the Trailblazers, Luongo able to recover it. It is a loss of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 13 from the 41-yard line.
Clock rolling, 13:50 to go. 2nd down and 13. They move it forward after saying it was originally a loss of 5. 4 receivers to the far side. Hand off to Seiji Luongo. And he'll pound his way back to, not even to the original line of scrimmage. He'll pick up 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
This is just a good job by the Mountaineers defensive line. You'll see here, able to kind of just get him touched there right at the 45-yard line, the 40-yard line, and then just a host of Mountaineers able to surround him and bring him down.
13:13 to go here in the 3rd. 3rd down and 11. You'd hate to see Dixie State go 3 and out after forcing and recovering the fumble. Easton Smith, your quarterback, 2 receivers to either side. Snap to Smith. Has time. Now it collapses and fires, looking for Seiji Luongo out of the backfield, and you nearly had a defensive lineman interception, but it's batted to the ground, and we've said his name a million times, Mark Zavala, batting that ball to the ground.
Yeah, just kind of a simple little, Smith has time here, looks to step up, and then feels the pressure, and just kind of like a little sidearm pass, and just gets it out. Mark Zavala there, also Will Lydell.
And that's Smith just feeling the pressure and needing to finally just get rid of it. And seeing that he had Seiji in the area, the referee's going to run in and stand over the ball after Dixie State made a substitution to give Western Colorado a chance to sub if they need to. Low snap on the punt attempt, but Carlson able to get it away. Nilsson fields it, bobbles it, but regains it to 12, and will bring it across the 20 to the 25-yard line. That's where Western Colorado will take over. Unfortunate for this Dixie State offense, couldn't do more with the ball after forcing and recovering the fumble.
And a good job here by Josh Carlson after the errant snap to get this one away and flip the field on the Mountaineers. This drive will begin at the 25-yard line of Western.
12:44 to go in the 3rd. Trailblazers had a golden opportunity, could not capitalize on it. So here we go. Less than 3 minutes gone by already. It's like it never happened. Dylan Jacob, the quarterback for the Mountaineers. Dixie State showing blitz. They are able to bring the house, and they stop the tailback dead in his tracks. I believe V.E. Cialo'i in on that tackle. Indeed it is.
Good job.
He hit him first.
Good job by Cialo'i here, just able to blow right through the offensive line there and stack him up well behind the line of scrimmage. A great play and a great tackle.
Ty Leba, the tailback right now. Dixie State defense scrambling to get set. And now once they do, Jacob will look over to the sideline to get the call. This Western Colorado team hungry for its first victory of the season. Right now they lead 7-3. Play action, Jacob across the middle, incomplete. He had 2 receivers. He had Gillespie short, and the long receiver is, what number is that, Drayson? Can you see that? He had 1 long as well, and he kind of threw it right in between him. Incomplete, 3rd down coming.
Yeah, the deep receiver was number 88, Chase Starman. Looked like it might have been intended for Gillespie, in my opinion. Then you had J.T. Anderson there in coverage, forcing the 3rd down and long for the Trailblazer defense.
Big 3rd down here. 3rd down and 13. 12:01 to go here in the 3rd. Jacob on 3rd down. Screen pass out of the backfield, complete. across the 30 and tackled across the 35. He's going to have the first down, and that is Zion Dunson. They haven't called his name at all today. They bring him in and run a little screen out of the backfield, and it goes for big yardage and a first down.
Yeah, he just leaks out of the backfield, uncovered out of the backfield like you mentioned. Zion Dunson brings this one in, has lots of room to run, and able to get out across the 35 to the 36, enough for a first down.
Now Ty Leba back into the backfield with Jacob. Clock rolling, 11:32 to go in the third quarter. It's a double handoff. I believe the tight end's got it. They hand it off to Leba, and then back to the tight end who had just motioned from right to left, and it is the tight end. I believe that's Dominic Chance. Interesting.
Yeah, a little quick a speed reverse there just to kind of try to get the Trailblazers to overcommit. They do play pretty good sound defense, only allowing 5 yards on the trick play.
2nd and 5. Ball at the Mountaineer 41-yard line. Chance in motion again from right to left. No trick play this time. Jacob forced out of the pocket, but he's able to fire to the sticks, just short of the sticks, to Gillespie, who makes the catch. 1 yard shy of the marker. Needed 5, picked up 4 to be 3rd down and 1. There was a Dixie State defender in the backfield, but a great block by Western, and they push Kyle Murray away. Western goes quickly, and they're able to get across the line, end around left side for the first down. Needed 1, picked up 3.
Yeah, and a good play by Leba here just to get enough for the first down. You'll see here they just give to him. He cuts back to his right, avoids a tackler, and then keeps the legs churning to get extra yards and enough for the first down.
10:15 to go and rolling here in the third. Dixie State trailing 7-3, and Western right now has nothing but making it a 2-score game on their mind. Handoff to Leba. Off to the right side, and he'll pick up 2 yards, 2nd down and 8.
Looks like the same play they run on the previous play. You see here, just gives it to him. He comes off to the right side and is brought down pretty immediately, but a pickup of 2 yards.
2nd down and 8. Jacob sends a man in motion. That's his leading receiver. He wanted to throw to him, but he's covered and has to get rid of it now and dumps it. It's incomplete. That was Zach Manchester, his leading receiver, who they moved from the right side to the left side, and that was designed for Jacob to roll out to the left, but good coverage downfield.
Yeah, and Shiloh Pritchard getting the penetration here, getting the pressure on the quarterback to force him to just throw it away.
Another big 3rd down. You gave up the 3rd and long. Now it's 3rd and 8. If you can hold here, you still force the punt. Ball still 1 yard shy of midfield. 2 receivers either side, bunched up behind one another. Snap to Jacob. Fires, and it's incomplete. He had his man. Is that Manchester? Once again, it is. He had him, but he threw it up and over his hands. Incomplete, 4th down.
Yeah, this ball just sails on Jacob. You see here, got time in the pocket. He's able to step up, but just sails this one high. That was kind of an errant pass there from Jacob, a little bit uncharacteristically, but it will force the Western Colorado Mountaineers to punt.
Of course, if it's a little lower, Mike Jones was waiting there. He might have delivered a blow that could have broken the ball up anyway. Garrett Boyd will get this punt away. High punt. And Xavier Smith's just going to let it go. It will bounce at the 15 and then go backward. And that ball was hit by a Western player. Hit his feet right near the 15-yard line. And they're going to mark it at the 15. Believe that was Quincy Campbell who had it come off of his feet as they were trying to dance around it.
We've seen 2 good punters in this game so far, Kerry. We've always got a lot of time to see him. Garrett Boyd here with another great punt. He does a good job. He's not necessarily the best, the farthest kicker. He doesn't have a good leg on him, but one of the good things that he does do, he puts a lot of arc on the ball. That allows his gunners to get downfield, forcing Dixie State return man to just let that one go, and he gets a decent balance and will take over there at the 15-yard line.
Dixie State will jog the troops back out onto the field. Easton Smith still your quarterback. Kentaro Yoshikawa is out there. He's your tight end. He had a touchdown catch last week. In fact, had 3 catches on that drive. I'd love to see him get involved maybe on this play. Handoff on 1st down. C.J. Luongo will dive right up the gut for just 1 yard. 2nd down and 9.
And this has kind of been the story of the game so far, Carrick. Like we've mentioned, Trailblazers unable to get C.J. Luongo going here. You see he makes one jump cut, but is tackled immediately there at the line of scrimmage by Desmond Marfizo.
C.J. at this point just 26 yards on the ground. This offense has got to figure something out. Cody Hobbs in at tight end. High snap. Smith brings it down. We'll leave it with C.J. on the read option again. Loses a yard back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, 2 Mountaineers there in for the tackle. That's number 93, Jacob Benegas, and number 54, Lane Ferris. Able to bring Luongo down for a loss of 1 back to the original line of scrimmage to force a 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10. Ball at the Dixie State 15-yard line. Snap to Smith. Pressure comes. He'll step up, and he can't get past the defender. He's sacked. If he can step up a split second sooner, I think he might have a chance to run for the first down. It was a wide open center of the field, but they bring him down.
And guess who? Mark Zavala, number 95, able to get here off the left edge, forces Smith to step up in the pocket, but there he spins around and is able to bring him down for a loss and a sack. The Trailblazers will be forced to punt from their own 11-yard line.
Zavala's 5th tackle of the game. Carlson standing in his own end zone about 1 yard deep. Nilsson just beyond midfield, set to return. Carlson, a couple steps to the right, an end-over-end kick booming. Nilsson on the run will field it off the bounce at the 30, gets a block, still on his feet, stiff arm, and then is brought down across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Short field for Western Colorado. And just like the first half, either team able to find the end zone or even a field goal early in the half.
But a good punt here from Carlson. You see just a deep punt down the field. The problem with that is when you kick the ball down the field, like we mentioned the opposite earlier with Garrett Boyd, this one goes down the field, more of a line drive style kick. It doesn't allow your gunman to get down the field. That's why the return man was able to just pick that one up off the bounce and pick up a handful of yards to start this drive at the 41-yard line.
7-11 remaining here in the third. Shumway is your quarterback. He's going to hold on to it, and he's brought down. Man, he's so big. Dixie State defender had him in the backfield after the option to keep it, and he's able to run out of that, still pick up a yard.
Yeah, that's just the benefit of having a big quarterback like Cameron Shumway at 6'6". You see that's number 33 right there. Tane Tuifua gets him, but Cameron Shumway, big enough and able to just kind of muscle his way forward, picks up a yard.
6:41 to go in the third. This game has flown by. Not even 2 o'clock yet, and we're halfway through the third quarter. Jacob back into the game, and he'll scramble out to the right side. Is forced out. I don't know how many red jerseys you count there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at least. That forced him out of bounds on the right side. He'll lose a couple of yards. 3rd down and long.
Has a good play here for the Trailblazer defense. You see the run-pass option. Jacob keeps it. He's able to get outside, but you see 4 or 5 Dixie State defenders there. Just surrounds Jacob. He wisely decides to get to the sideline and get out of bounds to avoid contact.
3rd down and 11. Seen Dixie State this year, and even in this game, give up big 3rd downs. You'd love to force this one. Snap to Jacob. Loads up, fires downfield, and he threw it over Gillespie, incomplete. Gillespie kind of lost his footing a little bit, couldn't get to it.
Yeah, this was just kind of a back shoulder throw on a fade route on the outside. Gillespie getting down the sideline. Jacob tries to throw him open on that back shoulder. You see the coverage over the top. This ball not placed accurately, however. Gillespie not able to get to it. The Trailblazer defense forces a 4th down.
I tell you who is probably having fun out there today. Garrett Boyd and Josh Carlson, the 2 punters. Seeing the field maybe a lot more than usual. Boyd puts this one into play. Smith will call for the fair catch, but then lets it roll, and it will take a Western bounce inside the 20 down to the Dixie State. We'll mark it at the 17-yard line.
Ought to be a good day character. Maybe look up in the record book to see total number of punts in a day and total number of yards in a single game.
We could go back and figure that out. Let's do it. Let's get our statisticians on that. Oh, wait, it's just you and I up here in the booth. 6:14 to go. We got devices up here, though. We can look stuff up. We're going to have a chase, see who can get to it first. You're on your iPad. I'm on my MacBook. Who can get to it first?
I like your chances just because you know your way a little bit better around the Trailblazer Athletic website. So, but I got it right here.
6:14 to go. Dixie State's going to hustle out onto the field on 1st down. Smith connects with DeJuan Dantzler, evades a defender to the 40, cutting inside, still on his feet at the 50, across the 50 to the 40, to the 30, foot race, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. DeJuan, no, did he step out? Yeah, touchdown. 83-yard touchdown. Pitch and catch from Easton Smith to DeJuan Dantzler, and DeJuan did a ton of that work himself.
Tremendous play here for the Trailblazers. This is what we needed for all day. Carrick, is just them to have a big play to get this offense going. A tremendous play from Dantzler here to get on the sideline, make a bunch of guys miss, just able to weave his way in and out. And then obviously you see the speed there at the end to just blow by inside the 20 to put the Trailblazers on top 9-7.
What a play. Dixie State leading 9-7. The snap on the PAT is a good one, and the kick splits the uprights with 5:58 to go. Dixie State leading it 10-7. Let's take a 60-second timeout, and then we'll take a look at that replay on the other side of this 60-second timeout on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back. 5:58 to play. Dixie State leading 10-7. Jurgensen puts a foot into this one. Nilsson will field it right at the goal line. It is returnable across the 15 to the 20 and hit. Ball comes loose. Western's going to recover it just across the 20 to the 22-yard line.
Yeah, good play here from the Trailblazers special teams. You see they're able to get down the field quickly off of the good kick from Jurgensen. Forced the fumble. I'd love to see a replay. See how close the Trailblazers were to recovering that one. But two hard hits on the return man. Forced that ball loose. But the Mountaineers do recover and take over on their 22-yard line.
1st and 10, Western Colorado.
See the replay here on that touchdown pass to Dwan Dantzler on the previous drive. Just making his way down the sideline, makes a few guys miss, and goes all the way for the touchdown.
Western taking its time to get this first down play off, and now the referee's going to blow delay a game.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They were taking their sweet time like they had all the time in the world, and now they get the delay of game.
And the head coach hates when that happens, Carrick. When you have a delay of game out of a punt, you have to get your offense on the field, obviously. Not a good play not a great job to have that one delay of game on that play.
First down snap to Jacob. They leave it with a tailback. That Leba, I believe. He'll pick up 2 of the 5 yards they lost on the penalty. And it's 2nd down and 13. The important part for Dixie State now is to let that big play be the spark plug to the rest of the stuff you want to do the rest of this game.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all it takes, Carrick, is one good play to get your offense going. That's sometimes all that you need. Hopefully that's the case for the Trailblazers today.
Clock rolling, 5:20 to play. Play action. Jacob going to roll out to his left. Pass is complete. Dixie State trying to argue that ball hit the ground. Either way, he only got 1 yard out of it, so it's 3rd down and 11 instead of 3rd down and 12. Barton makes the catch, but he has to go down for it. Doesn't have a chance to get up.
Yeah, the only receiver that Jacob has.
Number 18, Western State is off for a knee pad violation.
Barton just gets out there in the flat. Able to bring that one in, but only a minimal pickup of 1 yard.
So I heard our referee, the knee pad is a topic of focus this year. Got to keep the knee pads covered at all times. Jacob on 3rd down will heave downfield, and it's incomplete. Great defensive play by Trayvon Watson. It looked like Gillespie was going to have it at midfield, but Trayvon went up high and knocked it loose.
Yeah, this was a good job by Trayvon Watson. You'll see here Gillespie just finds an area where there's kind of no defenders. Jacob recognizes that and throws it to that area of the field. You'll see Gillespie here kind of just stops, realizes where the ball's coming, comes back. Trayvon Watson doesn't overcommit. He's able to get back there and knock that ball loose for the incomplete pass.
Garrett Boyd, a high punt is away. Xavier Smith calls for a fair catch just across the 50 at the 47-yard line. Not the longest of punts for Garrett Boyd, and Dixie State will have pretty good field position for this next drive in the 3rd quarter. Want to thank some of our great sponsors. Chick-fil-A, our scoreboard sponsor. Mountain America, our keys to the game sponsor. Of course, pregame was brought to you by Dad's Trucking. Lonnie Boy's Barbecue, our starting lineup sponsor. Intermountain Healthcare sponsoring the Red Zone. Timeouts today brought to you by Catering Concepts. And coming up after the game today, we've got the Camping World post-game show in which we will name a campus dining player of the game and a Jimmy John's play of the game. I know I've got my leading candidate for the play of the game so far. 1st down and 10 for Dixie State. Smith play action, pump fake, going long, has Casey Allison. He can't get to it. One-on-one was Allison with Mason Baudet down the near sideline. And it just was a little too much on it. Couldn't get to it.
Yeah, the Trailblazers going for a home run here with Allison. You see the pump fake from Easton Smith there, but a good play by Baudet to not jump on that pump fake. He's able to stay with Allison and force that ball out of bounds.
2nd down and 10. Ball still at the 47-yard line. Clock stopped at 4:17. Hand off to Sage. He's got room around the right end. Lowers his head and bangs his way across the 50, and then is driven back. Where do they mark him? Where do they give him forward progress? Down to the 48-yard line. So he'll pick up 5 yards on the play. 3rd down and 5 upcoming.
Yeah, good play here from Luongo. I'd like to see the Trailblazers do this a little more. Try to get out to the outside. That's where Luongo can use his speed and his craftiness. He's very shifty when he gets out to the outside. Can make defenders miss. He does that here. Picks up 5 yards on 2nd down.
3rd down and 5. What do they draw up here? Shotgun snap to Smith. Hangs in there, takes a lick, and he threw that one down to the 10-yard line and out of bounds. And Dewan Dantzler stopped his route about 20 yards before that. Incomplete punt upcoming for Dixie State.
Yeah, Smith and Dantzler are just not on the same page, but Smith also missed a wide open Casey Allison. He was running a drag route from the weak side of the formation all the way across the field. Was wide open. It would have been an easy 1st down had he seen him, but decided to go long, but unfortunately was not on the same page with Dantzler.
Of course, pressure came, and he had to get rid of it in a hurry as well. Carlson will boot this one. Takes a bounce, and Dixie's taking a field at the 1-yard line. How about that? Elijah Isaiah chases that ball down. It bounced at about the 10. Isaiah chased it down at the 1-yard line. It's a 99-yard field for Western.
And a very disciplined play here from Elijah Isaiah. A lot of times when you have your gunmen running down the field like that, they'll see the ball bounce and then they'll give up on the play, especially when they see it going towards the goal line. Elijah Isaiah does not do that. He follows the ball all the way to the goal line, is able to keep his feet in the field of play and bring that one down inside the 1-yard line. It'll be a tough scenario here for the Mountaineers just to get this ball out of the shadow of their own end zone.
3:29 to play. 3rd quarter, Dixie State a 10-7 lead. Again, we welcome our listeners on KEJJ 98.3 FM. The Mountaineers on 1st down will just run it right up the gut to see what kind of separation they can get away from the goal line. It's Cameron Shumway, the quarterback. And he'll pick up 2 yards on the play, 2nd down and 8.
It gives the Mountaineers just a little bit of breathing room. You see, he is just a quarterback keeper. He kind of sneaks off to the left side of the formation, pushes forward, gives them a 2-yard pickup. And they'll be from their own 3, which gives them a little bit more space to move around. You can run it from here. You can pass it from here. A few different options here than rather being at the 1.
On the 2nd down, handoff to Leba, and he'll break through. He's got a 1st down yardage and then some. And he's out near the 15-yard line, a 1st down for Western.
Yeah, good option here to just give it to Leba, the big guy. The speedy guy gets to the outside and makes a couple of guys miss and gets a lot of breathing room for the Mountaineers and picks up a 1st down in the process.
Of course, I jinxed that play. I was just grabbing my notes to see when the last time Dixie State recorded a safety was. I'll take it. That one's on me if you're superstitious. 2:20 to go here in the 3rd. Jacob will leave it with Leba. And he's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 2nd down at 10.
And this one just was run right up the gut, and the Trailblazer defensive line was able to surround Leba here and bring him down for minimal to no gain. You see there, that's number 54, Tyson Roberts, bringing him down there at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10 yards to go.
1:50 to go until this quarter is over. I can't believe it's still not even 3 o'clock yet. We're not even 2 hours in. We're almost 3/4 in. Jacob. Out route to the near sideline. It's complete, and Barton's going to escape a tackler, and he's tackled just shy of the marker, 1 yard shy, needed 10, got 9. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, just a little out route by Barton, a low snap. Jacob able to recover, find Barton out in the flat. That's Alex Lilliard not able to wrap him up and bring him down. So it'll be a 3rd and 1 for the Mountaineers.
3rd down and 1 here. Of course, their 3rd down and short specialist, Cameron Shumway, is onto the field, as well as the big tight end, Tremel Stanley. Quarterback keeper. Shumway is right at the marker. Only needed one. They haven't signaled first down yet. I think they're going to measure.
Alex Lilliard on the stop.
I think they're going to bring the sticks out to measure.
From our vantage point, it looks like he's right there. I mean, it's close. That's why they're going to bring it out to measure. From our vantage point, it looks like he might be just a hair short. Looks like the marker's there at the 23. The ball's not quite to the 23.
There we go. Great look from our CEC crew there. I think they got it by a nose. First down. I thought it looked like where they initially put the ball down, it was going to be a first down, but of course it gives us the opportunity to brag about our great students and staff that work here, CEC TV. You see Lauren and Trey hard at work inside the production van. We are certainly blessed to have all of them around and very lucky to have the type of production we have. On first down, it's still Shumway. Fakes the pitch, and he's going to juke a defender out of his shoes and is upended at the 35-yard line to the 36. Boy, he faked the pitch and then juked the defender out of his shoes and went to the 36.
It was a good play by Shumway here. You see, just fakes the pitch out to the right, gets a good block there on Alex Lilliard, and he's able to get out onto the sideline and get a lot of room to run. Kind of an interesting tackle there. Didn't even know what he was doing, but fortunately for the Trailblazers, that's where this play comes to an end.
Under a minute to go in the third, 35 seconds to be exact. Play clock at 13, so we'll see at least this play. Gillespie in motion. They'll fly sweep it to him. He'll cut it up inside early, and he's tackled after a gain of 1. Second down and 9. Ball to the 38-yard line of Western. Now the Mountaineers can just ride this one in the fourth quarter wind this thing to let the clock just roll off. They're staying over there like they want to. I think they'd rather just they may not even come back onto the field. Clock rolling at 15 seconds, and Western still over on the sideline. I think they're just going to ride this out to the fourth quarter. Of course, if you're Dixie State defense, you kind of have to stay out there in the event that Western runs out to run a play after you maybe started making your way to the sideline, but that will do it. 3 quarters of football in the books. I don't know what it is about these two teams, but it always comes down to the wire when they get together. After 3 quarters of play, Dixie State 10, Western Colorado 7. Let's take a 60-second timeout. Come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
And on second down and 9, Jacob trying to find Gillespie down the near sideline. They hurried through that timeout. They've been a little bit better about that. It's incomplete. Third down and 9. Gillespie couldn't quite get to it. Good coverage by Mike Jones on the near sideline. For a while, they were hurrying through the timeouts, and I was hesitant to take the full 60-second timeouts. It's not media format. We don't have a red hat down there to stop them. But then they got a little bit better about it. But that one they hurried through. We missed that play, but that's okay. Third down and 9 now. Trailblazers looking to dial up a stop with 14:55 to go in the fourth. Snap to Jacob. Jailhouse break. A flag will fly back to the original line of scrimmage. It's a sack. And I think that's Wes Moiai that got to him, judging by the celebration. There's a flag down at, well, it's not the original line of scrimmage. It's down across the 35.
Holding.
It's going to be a hold, and they'll decline it.
That penalty's declined. Fourth down.
I thought, judging by where that flag was thrown, that's probably what it was going to be, and Moiai's able to get to him.
And that's interesting because sometimes that flag was thrown by the line judge. A lot of times when you see holding, you'll see it come from the back judge here in the backfield, or the referee even in the backfield. That one came from the line judge, but a great job there by Wes Moiai, able to get at the penetration, force the sack, and the fourth down punt for the Mountaineers.
Garrett Boyd will get this one away, a booming punt. Xavier Smith backpedaling, calls for a fair catch, and makes the catch at the 22-yard line of Dixie State. That's where they will begin this drive. Anymore, when you see that flag fly on a quarterback sack play, you just kind of hold your breath because of the way that they're protecting quarterbacks and things like that. So you kind of hold your breath and wait and make sure that it's not some sort of roughing the passer or thing like that. But textbook sack by Moiai there. And another great look from our CEC TV crew. There's Nate Staley, our great faculty athletic representative, the liaison between Dixie State student athletes and their teachers, the professors here on campus. Mike Sanders is back into the ballgame at quarterback. Snap to Sanders. Play action. They bring a blitz off the left edge, and it's incomplete.
Number 7, DeJuan Dantzler.
Yeah, pressure off the left edge by Tim Mole, and that forces the ball out quickly out of Sanders' hands, maybe quicker than he thought. He looks right at him. You see there, has to just get rid of the ball. Because of that, not able to put the ball on target, and Dantzler not able to bring it in.
Double coverage, too, so I think he put it in a spot where if anybody's going to get to it, it's going to be DeJuan and only him. 14:25 to go in the fourth. Clock stopped. Dixie State a 10-7 lead. Love to tack on another score here to make it a 2-score lead. Sajay starts inside, breaks through one level, gets to the next, and they drive him back after a pickup of 5 or a long 4. It'll be 3rd down and 5 upcoming. He's had to work for every yard he has gained over the past 2 games.
And that was just a Sajay Luongo type run there, just gets up into the middle. He's just very, like I've said this before, he's very crafty. He's very quick to jump cut, to change directions like that. That's how he's able to just kind of find the small little creases and seams in the defense. That one able to pick up 5 yards to force his 3rd down and 5 for the Trailblazers.
Connor Miller's in at receiver. He's been a big part of this offense over the last few weeks. Love to see them get him involved. They even use him in some Wildcat stuff at Black Hill State. They'll fire to the outside. Past the sticks. Casey Allison making the catch. He'll make a break across the 50 to the 40 and brought down from behind at the Western Colorado 40-yard line. Casey Allison making a big catch.
You see here why Casey Allison is such a weapon, the 6'3" redshirt junior out of Monroe Valley, California. Just see here, just gets right to the sticks, gets to the sideline, makes a guy miss, cuts back to the middle, gets a key block there to propel him forward, and gets inside Mountaineer territory across the 40 and at the 36-yard line.
Dixie State line it up on 1st down. Sanders passes batted down and incomplete. That's big Lane Ferris getting his paws on that one, and then if he's a little bit quicker, he might have been able to chase it down for a pick as well.
Yeah, that's a good play there. You're taught as a defensive lineman, once you get once you see the pass, the play is a pass, fumbling over my words there. Once you see the play as a pass, you're taught to get your hands up to knock that ball down. That's what he did there and force a 2nd down.
2nd down and 10, 13:03 to go. Dixie State in Western territory at the 36-yard line. High snap to Sanders. Brings it down. Fires inside. DeJuan Dantzler makes the catch. Is lit up immediately, but he's able to hold on to the ball across the 30 to the 29-yard line, but he's going to limp off. Limping on that left foot. In fact, he's going to stop. He's not even going to make it off the field. That's not good.
And that's
timeout for injuries.
That's the danger of throwing the ball over the middle. This one leads Dantzler. A great catch as he's able to bring it in, but as soon as he turns, is lit up by the Mountaineers defender. That's one of the dangers of going over the middle. A lot of times, defenses will leave that part of the field open, specifically so that you throw it there, but the middle of the field is unique because you're able to collapse so quickly because you know where the play is going. That was the case there where the Mountaineer defender was able to just collapse and light up Dantzler right there after he caught the ball. He's still on the ground. Well, hopefully hope that he's okay.
Let's take an injury timeout. 12:48 to go in the 3rd. Dixie State a 10-7 lead. 3rd and 4 upcoming, but first a 30-second injury timeout on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Well, 4 to play here in the 3rd. Welcome back. Good news for DeJuan Dantzler is that he was able to get up and walk off under his own power, and now they've got him on the training table to take a closer look. Hopefully he's okay. Back to the action. 3rd and 4. Twins to either side for this Dixie State offense. Snap to Sanders. He'll float it down the field. Pass is tipped away and incomplete. Great coverage by Western on that play. Pass was intended for
Connor Miller.
Connor Miller. Thank you. I've been asking to get him involved, and there he was, but couldn't quite get up and make the catch. Good defense.
And great coverage here from defensive back Josh Nelson, just staying right with Miller there. A good job to get his head turned around. That's the key for when they look for pass interference. If you're able to get your head turned around and get the arm up extended, that's a good play right there from Josh Nelson, able to force that ball out of the hands of Connor Miller and force a 4th down here.
12:18 to go, and they're going to go for it. Play clock down to 2 and a 1. Then that no man's land. Got to go for it on 4th down. Pass is tipped, intended for Giovanni Sanders. There was a hold, and the Dixie State coaches are losing their minds, and they have every right to be. Sanders was absolutely held on that play. Nothing he could have done differently to try to make the catch. We'll get another look at it here. As it stands, it's turnover on downs. Western will get it back.
I think Sanders didn't expect this ball to be coming out as soon as it was, but you see there the defender.
David Velasquez has both hands on him.
That's the key.
Right in front of the official. Both hands on him.
He gets his right hand and turns Giovanni Sanders. That's maybe why it looked like he wasn't expecting that play, because he had his back turned to the offense, but that's because he was turned.
They were doing the cha-cha. They were in a line and doing the cha-cha there in the middle of the field. Jacob on first down. Quarterback keeper runs into the back of his own guy and falls to the turf.
Yeah, just kind of a quarterback keeper there, a run-pass option. And this one just kind of goes nowhere. He just runs right into the backside there, you see, of his offensive lineman. Gavin Dement just kind of runs that play into the ground. 2nd and 7 for Western.
Do we credit Dement with the tackle on that play?
I'm not sure who you credit that with. I guess it's the closest player to the tackle. I'm not sure.
Maybe the same as just, as he slipped and went down. Snap to Jacob on 2nd down. Oh, boy. Barton is wide open, makes the catch across the 50. Foot race. And he's knocked out of bounds, I believe, by Alex Lilliard across the 20.
And this was just
Western in business.
This was just a blown coverage by the Trailblazers. You see here, you had a guy cutting across the middle, and both Trailblazer defenders keyed in on that guy. It left Barton open on the seam route, or on the fade route on the outside. He's wide open, is able to set up the Mountaineers inside the 25-yard line.
Good news is that Lilliard's able to catch him, so it's at the 25, an opportunity to at least try to hold to a field goal attempt here. They'll leave it with Leba, and he's driven back immediately. A couple of Dixie State players, but the first to him is Abraham Reinhardt.
Yeah, great penetration from Reinhardt here. You'll see here he's coming in on the blitz, able to get through the line there. You see after it gets past the blocker and brings down Leba in the backfield with a loss of 1 on the play.
2nd down and 11. Dixie State defense will try to redeem itself from the blown coverage. Well, what is this formation? We've got that's an offensive lineman lined out at the receiver spot. Jacob, quarterback keeper, and it goes for a gain of 1 maybe. They brought Grant Smith, the freshman offensive lineman, and lined him up out with the receivers.
Yeah, you only had 3 linemen there at the point of the snap. You had the center and then the 2 guards, and then you separated the tackles out way far off to the sidelines there with the receivers and the slot receivers. Weird format. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. And that play goes basically nowhere. Forces a 3rd down and 10.
No gain.
A critical 3rd down for the Trailblazer defense.
3rd down and 11. Snap to Jacob. Blitz coming, rolls out to his right, fires, and the catch is made for the first down. Wow. Zach Manchester. I'm having a hard time seeing these numbers every once in a while. It was Zach Manchester making the diving catch, and he was able to keep his feet. I'd love to see that again if we could. He had kept his feet in bounds, and he gets the forward progress for the first down. Read option. Jacob's going to keep it. Tries to stiff arm Remington Kelly, and Remington says, I'm taking you down. No gain. 2nd and 10.
It's awfully hard to out-muscle Remington Kelly, the 6'3 senior defensive lineman, 235 pounds. Going to be tough for a quarterback to keep him off him. You see there, Kelly just too strong, brings him down for no gain.
2nd and 10. 9:28 to go. And not afford to give up a touchdown here in a 10-7 ball game. Jacob fires to the outside. Receiver slips but makes the catch still. And that is Bryce Harvey. He'll go for 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Ball at the 11-yard line. Looks like they're going to give him, well, the scoreboard says 3rd and 5, but it looks like they only gave him 4 yards. Judging by where the ball is marked, we'll say 3rd and 6 from up here at the 12-yard line.
Mountaineers certainly in field goal range at this point, would like to force a field goal rather than giving up a touchdown in this point of the game.
Snap to Jacob. Pressure comes. He's going down. No, he escaped the pressure somehow. Roll back across the left side. Fire to the end zone. It's incomplete. A flag flies. Oh, no. Is that going to be roughing the passer? Or is there a possible hold back there? That flag's sitting at the 33-yard line.
No, this is going to be a roughing the passer on
goodness.
Sebastian DiMartini on that play. Just inexcusably, no way Jacob is going to be able to complete that pass. Rolled out to his right. Thought he was going to go down. Had to roll all the way back out, almost across the entire field. Throws it across his body. They are discussing with the referee here. I'd like to see what this call is, but it is going to be.
It might pick it up.
At the moment, it is.
No.
Roughing the passer.
There is no roughing the passer on the play.
They pick it up.
And they pick it up. Might have been one of those cases. You saw immediately DiMartini was helping the quarterback up. It might have been one of those cases. Love to get it on replay here if we could, just to see what exactly happened there in the backfield.
I'm interested to see was there a knee that came down over here. No, the ball was almost stripped. And he came back over here. DiMartini in pursuit. No, he just stuck the hand up. That's absolutely the right call.
And he was going for the ball.
He was trying to reach up and
block the ball, and just his momentum kind of carried him into maybe the helmet. But that play is good because he's going for the ball.
This will be Chandler Davis from 29 yards. Right hash. And it's good. Not a very pretty looking kick, but he knocked it through, and we're tied at 10. 8:26 to go. Trailblazers and Mountaineers locked in a 10-10 battle, but the Trailblazers happy they can hold to just a field goal. Let's step away. We're just going to take a 30. We don't want to miss any action. 30-second timeout and back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back. 8:26 to play. Trace, it doesn't matter how the ball looks as it's going through, as long as it goes through. Chandler Davis, 28-yard field goal. We're tied at 10. 8:26 to go.
They don't award you for style points in football, Carrick. As long as the ball gets across the goal line or over the bar, it's good for points. So that's all that really matters in this game.
Oh, here we go. The Trailblazers an opportunity with 8:26 to go to eat some clock and then hopefully march down the field and punch it in and try to take a lead. Chandler Davis approaching. Fielded at the goal line by Isaiah Wooden. They set up the play to go to the left side. He gets a block across the 30, 40, 50. Flag flies back at the 40-yard line of Dixie State. Great return by the Trailblazers. It's coming back a little bit. The flag sitting at the 43, 44-yard line.
Hey, I see Isaiah Wooden here, just gets behind a bunch of blockers and gets out there. Love to see where the flag would have come in. Hard to see from that angle where the flag
maybe
was.
Maybe zoomed in a little too close. It was on the other side of the field.
Holding on the return team, number 18.
Brad
That's a
Duran.
10-yard penalty from the point of the infraction. First down.
But the flag was sitting at the 34. I kept saying it was across the 40. Sometimes I can't read hash marks.
And also that, I mean, the referee's throwing that
and it takes a bounce.
As he's running, so the momentum carried it to the 40.
I mean, it's back to the 25. It's not the worst case scenario, but, man, you'd love to be starting in Western Territory. 8:18 to go. We are tied at 10. Easton Smith brings the troops out onto the field, handing off to Sajay around the left end, and he's just brought down by the ankles. He can break that one. He's got first down yardage and probably then some.
And that's Desmond Marfizo able to lock up Luongo's ankles, keep him from going forward. A good open field tackle. If he's able to break that, he's got a lot of room onto the sideline. Maybe picks up a first down, if not for that tackle by Marfizo.
7:50 to go in the fourth. 2nd and 8. High snap to Smith. Brings it down. Tosses to Allison, kind of on a comebacker. The problem was he had to come back so far to get it. He caught it behind the line of scrimmage, and then he picks up just 1 yard.
Yeah, just kind of a little screen out here. You got one receiver blocking downfield. You got Allison on the comeback route. And just
too many white jerseys to make it work.
Yep, just too many Mountaineers defenders out there. They smelled that one out well, and that was a minimal gain, 2 or 3 yards on that one versus 3rd down and 6.
3rd and 6, and this is the big 3rd down. You can't give the ball back with this much time left. They go hard count. They can't draw the Mountaineers offside. Play clock under 10. Down to 5. High snap to Smith. He brings it down. Will loft it down the end zone. Allison is there, and he makes the catch across the 50. Down to the 45-yard line. What a play.
And that's what happens when you have a 6'3 wide receiver on the outside. Smith just lobs it up and says, hey, go get it. He does just that. That's against number 3, Mason Bodie, a 5'9 defensive back. He got 6 inches there. Difference on Casey Allison. He's able to go up and grab that ball, bring it in for the first down.
Dixie State going to go tempo. They fake the handoff, swing it out to the right side. Xavier Smith, the catch, has a block, and he's forced out of bounds, and a flag flies late. One on the far sideline, one in the middle of the field. Ineligible receiver downfield, Drayson, judging by the motion they just made. That's going to negate this play.
Ineligible downfield. Offense, number 64. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Jericho Dial getting caught, sneaking down the field. I don't know if we're going to be able to see here exactly where that was, but a great play by Easton Smith. You hate to see a quarterback take a shot on a throw like that and have it go for naught. But that's exactly what happened. First down and 15. You get the down back at least, but you got 15 yards to go for a fresh set of downs. The late handoff, Lawrence Starks feeling his way around the left end. And he'll get back 1 yard shy of the original line of scrimmage, pick up a 4 yard, second down and 11 for the Trailblazers.
Good job of Starks here just to kind of wait for his blockers. A lot of times running backs will just like to get out to the end and try to just make a move themselves, but Starks does a good job here of being patient and waiting for the blockers to get out ahead of him. They able to pick up 4.5 yards, brings down second down and 10, a long 10.
5:50 to go. Clock will become a factor. Snap to Smith. He'll leave it with Starks. Stays on his feet. How did he do that? He'll pick up 5 yards on the play, and it will be 3rd and 5. There's a lot more in the playbook for that than for 3rd and 10. It looked like he was going down, stuck the hand out, stayed on his feet.
There's like a little crab walk here. You see 1, 2, 3 times with the left hand on the ground. There was kind of a crab walk almost his way for a 5-yard pickup.
They give him the 35. His knee might have hit 2 yards before that, but we'll take it. 5:10 to go, 3rd and 5, and a big third down here. 12 seconds on the play clock. Easton Smith will look over to the sideline. Play clock down to 7 and 5, 4, 3. They get it off. Snap to Easton. Lobbing it downfield. Nobody there. Pass interference. The question was, is it going to be pass interference or is it going to be holding? It was kind of a bang-bang play. The ball may have already been thrown, so yeah, you could go either way with it.
It was Dominic Fletcher.
It certainly was a hold.
Yes, it was Dominic Fletcher in coverage, and the distinction between pass interference and holding.
Holding, number 26 on the defense.
Yep.
It's a 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the difference there, Carrick, is pass interference happens after the ball is thrown. Holding happens before the ball is thrown. You see here, yes, that's the right call.
So he was held back here.
He was held back here.
He might have been held again down to the 20, and that's the one I saw.
Right. That's the distinction between pass interference and holding. That one holding good enough for a first down at the 30-yard line.
Ref left his mic on. Nothing like getting a Fox 40 blasting through their headset. First down for Dixie State. They'll hand off up the middle, and I think that's Lawrence Stark still. Indeed it is, and he'll power his way for 6 yards.
Now we start to see the Trailblazer run game coming into a crucial part in this game. You see just gives to Starks just right up the middle. He's able to power his way through one or two defenders there.
But I've noticed teams, that'll happen when they're keyed in on CJ. You bring Lawrence Starks in, and for one reason or another, they're not respecting his ability to run as much as CJ Luongo, and he's just as talented. The big run there on first down, 2nd and 4. He's still in the game. They'll go, nope, they fake the handoff, and they throw it to the tight end, and that did not look good on the tackle. Looked like the leg might have twisted a little bit. That's Yoshikawa. He seems to be okay. I like that play. Fake the read option and then toss it out to the tight end, Kentaro Yoshikawa.
Yeah, just a chip block here from Yoshikawa. He's able to get it. Just a little flip pass, a pitch pass there, and he's able to get out for a first down. Really good play design there from the Trailblazers offense.
I'm glad Yoshikawa's okay because you heard me even when I saw that replay. It just did not look good the way his leg twisted going down. But he's still in the game. First down and 10 inside the Intermountain Healthcare red zone. 3:40 to go on the clock. They'll hand off to CJ Luongo, and it's blown up. I tell you, when CJ's in there, they're able to anticipate when it's going to him. It loses 6 yards on the play.
And that's number 28 for the Mountaineers, Josh Nelson. We've called his name a few times today as well. He's been playing, had a good game. He blows CJ Luongo up way in the backfield. This one goes down at the 22-yard line. A loss of 6 yards on the play. It'll force second down and 16.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts remaining. Snap to Smith. Pressure coming. He'll lob it to CJ out of the backfield. And he's going to get tackled inside the 15 down near the 10, but it will be a hold. I think Xavier Smith's going to get called for it. He knows it, too. as he was trying to make some space. Anytime you're kind of caught blocking from the backside like that, even if it's not really a hold, you're just begging the official to throw the flag.
Holding, offense, number 4. 10-yard penalty for the point of the infraction. Second down.
That one hurts because now you're moving further away from even field goal range. It'll be still second down. So now you look at this and you say, all right, we've got 2, maybe 3 chances to try to pick up this first down yardage, or if you can get down near the 20, you might be able to kick a field goal. 2:45 and rolling to go. Second and forever. Smith fires to the outside, back to Smith, makes a man miss, gets inside the 20, he's got speed, 10, 5, touchdown! He's Xavier Smith. No flags. How about that?
Tremendous play from Xavier Smith here. He's able to make one guy miss on the sideline, then uses his speed to get into the end zone. A simple play design, a 5-yard out route goes to Xavier Smith. He makes the initial defender miss, has lots of green grass in front of him. His speed is able to propel him to the end zone with a hurdle there to cap it off inside the 5. Touchdown for the Trailblazers.
The all-important extra point now from A.J. Jurgensen. It's a low snap. Able to get it down, though, and he splits the uprights. He's 3 for 3 on his kicks today. 2 extra points and a field goal. Dixie State leads at 17-10 with 2:33 to go in regulation. Let's take a 30-second timeout. We'll come right back on the Trailblazer Football Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Trailblazers Stadium. 2:33 to go, and Drayson and Trailblazers, after that wonderful play, right back up on top. An opportunity to shut things down on defense for the win.
And I liked how they got a lot of their yards on that drive from the ground game. Lawrence Starks played a big part in that, as they were able to pick up a lot of key runs on first and second down, setting up short yardage situations on third down. That one, a big play going to Xavier Smith, makes a great play, makes a guy miss, gets down to the sideline, and gives the Dixie State the 17-10 lead with 2:33 left to play.
A.J. Jurgensen will kick this one, and it's fielded about the 5-yard line. The returner hit and brought down at about the 20-yard line. That's where they're going to give him. Is that Nilsson? That's not. I believe that's number 13, Nigel Vaughns. That's a name we haven't called yet today. They'll mark him the 21-yard line. A 79-yard field for Western, trailing by a touchdown and an extra point with 2:25 to go. If you're Dixie State, you got to keep everything in front of you. You can't give up the big one.
You certainly can't, Carrick, and that's what they've done all season. We've seen a lot of times the Trailblazers have had the bend and not break mentality as a defense. They have to have that mentality here. You got 2:25 on the clock. They've got all 3 timeouts. They've got time to move down the field. The defense has to be good on this drive.
Dylan Jacob on first down has time. Now he's flushed out to the right side, pulls it down, lets it fly now, and it is caught by Barton. He is smashed. I tell you, they gave up the big one, but I think they could almost call offensive pass interference on this play, Drace. And we're going to get another look at it here. They'll have the ball at midfield. We'll have to see what we can see as the ball comes in. It looked like Barton kind of gave a little bit of a, nope. Defender just ran past him. That's why we have replay, so that I can correct myself. 1st and 10 for the 50. Pocket collapses, and Jacob goes down. They'll lose 5 yards, and a whistle and a timeout going to be taken by Western Colorado.
And Wes Mala'i in there on the sack of Brian Jacob.
First time
you
out
see
of the
here,
half.
just steps up. Wes Mala'i just gets off the block and brings him down there for the sack. Forces second down and 15. 1:57 left on the clock.
Dixie State leading it by 7. We just had a timeout. We'll remind you that timeouts are brought to you by Catering Concepts. We're going to keep it right here. Don't want to miss anything. This will give us a good opportunity as we begin kind of wind things down here in regulation, to give another big shout out to our CEC TV crew. For those of you watching, if you're a Dixie State fan, you know, because you've heard me harp on it over and over. If you're a Western Colorado fan, you should know that this production you're watching is, and hearing, for those of you listening on the radio side, is produced mostly by students. There's a few staff in the production van and maybe on some cameras, but it's mostly students out here getting us these great shots. And it's what you get at Dixie State University, wonderful opportunities to get hands-on chances. 2nd down and 15 out of the timeout. Back across to their own 45. Jacob on 1st down, fires across the middle. Pass is tipped and then nearly intercepted. Who is that? That's Mike Jones. That ball, I don't think he could see through the defenders, but it hit him almost right in the gut.
I think it was tipped by 3 players. The Dixie State defender, then the offensive receiver, and then again by Mike Jones. That ball is just pinballing in the secondary. Mike Jones not able to intercept that one to seal the game.
Scoreboard still shows 3 timeouts remaining for Western Colorado. That's only 2. 1:52 remaining in the 4th. 3rd and 15. Jacob fires near side complete, and that's Bryce Harvey. He'll pick up 5 yards. It feels like it went for so much more than that because of how deep he was in the backfield. But a 4th and 10 now, and this for the game. Clock rolling at 1:30. Dixie State can seal the game here. 2 receivers split out wide to either side. There is a running back at the right hip of Jacob. Has time. And he completes a pass, 1st down yardage and more. And who else if it's going to be a pass completion? Zach Manchester, your leading receiver.
Yeah, he just runs a simple dig route, a 10-yard dig route here over the middle. Just plants his feet right at the sticks. And Mayo to bring in that ball for the 1st down on 4th down.
They'll hurry up. They'll lob it on 1st down. And it's incomplete. Trayvon Watson coming over to help Darren Jones break up that intended for Bryce Harvey. 2nd down and 10. Clock stop. 58 seconds remaining. Ball at the Dixie State 38-yard line.
And this is a point of the field here, Carrick, where you've got a few plays to get a few extra yards, but you're still in range of like a Hail Mary pass. So Trailblazers still not out of the woods. Obviously, you got to keep everything in front of you. Right now, they're set up the defense. 3 guys near the 20-yard line kind of playing a little prevent defense.
Jacob flushed out to his right side. Throws to the sideline, and it's incomplete. Receiver had already stepped out of bounds anyway. You see the official not wearing his hat. He's marking where the receiver had gone out of bounds. That pass was down inside the 10, though. Boy, Dixie State probably not bringing the house like they have at times throughout the game, but Jacob was having all day to throw, even though he's being moved out.
Yeah, and I thought he might have just tucked and run it there. He had probably about 5 or 10 yards had he chose to do so. Would have gotten him a little bit closer for a Hail Mary attempt.
Well, at this point, you're just thinking whatever little chunks you can pick up. But, he could have picked up maybe a 1st down or 5, 6, 7 yards. As it stands at 3rd down and 10. Jacob steps up, tries to stiff arm, but he's brought down by the Dixie State defender. And that's Trayvon Watson. A timeout taken quickly by Western Colorado. And Trayvon Watson has made
Western State, 2nd timeout of the half.
Had made his way into the backfield. He tried to stiff arm him and then brought him down. And that's a play where probably should have got rid of it, at least throwing down the sideline at least. Probably would have flipped the 2 plays. It's hard. It's easy for us to say up here, but those 2 plays, like you said, he probably could have run for 5 or 6 yards on 3rd down, or on 2nd down, and on 3rd down, probably should have just got rid of it. But it's easy for us to say up in the booth. We're not the ones being chased down by 3 red jerseys. But the Trailblazers can now seal the game again with a stop here in 4th down.
And here we are faced again with another 4th down, Carrick. You mentioned have a chance to win it right here on a 4th and 11 play from the 39-yard line of Dixie State. I like that last play. Trayvon Watson, remember, he's a safety. He's playing deep in the secondary. Played a little bit of kind of almost a QB spy on that play, just making sure Jacob doesn't get out into the open field to run. He's able to collapse on that play and bring Jacob down for a loss.
4th down snap to Jacob. Has time. Steps up. Now he's going down. A game-sealing sack, and who else? Anthony Yarbrough. The Trailblazers are going to win this one. Yarbrough will celebrate with his teammates. Dixie State gets it back with a 17-10 lead and 36 seconds remaining.
And this is just a great play by Yarbrough. Doesn't give up on the play. You see him coming into the left side of your screen. He just keeps bull rushing his blocker right there. Is able to get around him enough to bring down Jacob to seal the victory for the Trailblazers.
And every once in a while, you have those games that, maybe it doesn't look pretty on paper. And it didn't look necessarily all that pretty throughout the game. There were a couple flashy plays for the touchdowns, though. And the Trailblazers are going to win this one 17-10 as they come out in victory formation. Easton Smith up under center. He'll take the snap and kneel on it. Western State with one timeout left, and they're not even going to take it. And that'll do it. 26 seconds on the game clock, 32 seconds on the play clock, so they don't even have to snap it. They should just be able to walk away from this one. Trailblazers are going to win 17-10. Let's take a quick look at final stats. Dixie State, I had to take a break. I don't know if I'm looking at that right. Dixie State will end up with 330 yards of total offense. I'm showing -1 rushing yards. I'm not sure about that. We'll have to double check that. That's what the live stats are showing at this point. I mean, they did take a lot of sacks, and so maybe that's just negated any rushing yards that they've had today. But 330 yards of total offense for the Trailblazers today, 246 yards for Western State. And the Trailblazers, as the clock hits triple zeros, able to get the 17-10 victory. Dixie State now 5-2, 5-1 in RMAC play with 4 games remaining.
Yeah, that was a great game, Garrick, for the Trailblazers. It wasn't like you said the prettiest of games, but in the end, able to get the job done. And as we see here, just handed the stat sheet, Garrick, you are indeed correct. -1 total rushing yards for the Trailblazers, but 331 yards through the air. That's where they were able to exploit the Mountaineers' defense. Incredible stat. It's unbelievable to think to have -1 rushing yards and be able to win the game.
With -1 yards rushing on the day. How about that? And we talked about how important it was that Dixie State kind of get up around that 150-yard rushing mark, and they don't get to it. And they still win. In fact, they go negative, and they still win the game at 17-10. Dixie State, 3 of 15 on third down, 7 of 20 for Western Colorado on third down. Dixie State did go 1 of 2 on fourth down conversions. Individually, Say-J Luongo, 16 carries for 31 yards. Lawrence Starks, 5 carries for 23 yards. Your quarterbacks, Mike Sanders goes 8 of 18 for 136 yards. Easton Smith goes 6 of 11 for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. Xavier Smith, 8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Casey Allison, 4 catches for 84 yards. DeJuan Dantzler, 2 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. What jumped out at you as you kind of look over and hear some of those numbers, Jason?
Well, I mean, obviously, Garrick, when you look at the box score, the number that's going to jump out to you, as we mentioned, is the -1 rushing yards. That's drastic compared to what the Trailblazers have been averaging so far on the ground this season, which is 175 yards. If you had just told me at the end of the game the Trailblazers have -1 yards rushing, I would have said they would have gotten blown out. That's not the case, thanks to a good pass game today on this in this matchup. Easton Smith leading that charge, backed up by Michael Sanders, who played pretty well. Xavier Smith through the air on the perimeter did very well. 8 catches, 121 yards, like you mentioned, but also got a lot of good contribution from Casey Allison and DeJuan Dantzler there to be able to negate the -1 rushing yards for the Trailblazers. That's what jumped out to me, is that this Trailblazer team has relied on the ground game for a lot of this season and able to get out to a 5-1 start. Today, that ground game was just not available. Credit the Western Colorado Mountaineers for getting penetration into the Trailblazer backfield to negate a lot of those runs and not let them get going. But on the other side of the coin, let's credit the Trailblazers for being able to adjust, to go into halftime and say, hey, they're taking away our run game. We're going to have to beat them through the air. It was a good game plan for the Mountaineers to come in and say, hey, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to beat us through the air. The Trailblazers adjusted. They did a great job of that in the second half especially. Got enough running game in the second half just to keep things going. But ultimately it was the pass attack to allow them to win this one 17-10.
Man, I'm just wrapping my head around that -1 yard rushing, and you see me over here with the calculator out, adding stuff up, and indeed it's correct. I mean, Luongo and Starks, you have their rushes, but they both lost a little bit as well, so their net rushing is 31 to 23 yards. And then from there on out, it's all the quarterbacks, too, just how many long, you had the couple of the bad snaps and snaps that were missed, some sacks. Trent Darms is marked down for negative 26 yards rushing. Mike Sanders goes for negative 17 yards rushing. Easton Smith for negative 5 and negative 7, and then negative 5 just to the team. And I think that incorporates kind of the bad snap and things like that.
And the kneel downs.
And the kneel downs, the kneel downs. And so you end up with negative 1 yards rushing. So I asked myself, how many times has that happened? I'm thinking, is this the first time it's ever happened in the D2 era? Third time that Dixie State has gone into the negative in rushing yards. First time since 2009, though. They did it twice that year, and both times was against Central Washington. At Central Washington and then at home against Central Washington. Negative 29 yards rushing is the record for the fewest rushing yards in a game. Then they had negative 21 again later that season, and then number 3 now all time is negative 1. But when you get 331 yards passing, which is something that Dixie State has not done as a team for quite some time as well, it works. And Dixie State able to get the job done and get the win today. How about let's take a look at some highlights if we've got them. Maybe just for this. Here we go. We've got some highlights. This started the first half. Shiloh Pritchard forcing the fumble and the Trailblazers being able to recover. They didn't do anything with that, but they were at least establishing some momentum early in that game, at least in the second half. You saw the Dixie State defense taking Josh Nilsson down, and key returner for Western State. And how about this? This is the one of the nominees for our Jimmy John's play of the game. DeJuan Dantzler making guys miss, outrunning guys to the end zone. He's kind of chugging by the end, but he's able to get in for the score.
Yeah, great play there by Dantzler on the sideline.
And then Elijah Isaiah downing the ball at the 1 yard line on one of the Josh Carlson punts. This Dixie State defense, though, remained up to the task. You see Cameron Shumway for Western getting away. But the Dixie State defense, as you see Wes Moyant, you get the sack. This Dixie State defense, they keyed in when they needed to. And Casey Allison, good to see him make 4 catches for 84 yards. He had a chance to, right there, if he could have got past that tackler, he might have gone for a score as well. Dylan Jacob running into the back of his own guy. And then a little bit later, running out. I mean, how about that? Running out of the sack and then firing incomplete. Isaiah Wooden, this return would be brought back as he returned that ball all the way across the 50-yard line. They had a holding on the play that brought it back. Easton Smith finding Casey Allison once again. He's the guy that you can just toss it up to and he'll go up and get it. He's not going to miss much. Lawrence Starks had a couple important carries on that drive that led to Dixie State getting this touchdown right here, right after Xavier Smith had been called for a penalty, makes a guy miss. He goes to the end zone.
Yeah, great play here by Xavier Smith, just able to get out into space and make a few guys miss and get into the end zone.
Western then on the ensuing drive would try to come back. Dixie State swarming to the ball on the kickoff return. But this right here would seal the game. Anthony Yarbrough, a sack on 4th down, and he is all sorts of excited as the Trailblazers clinch the 17-10 victory. Drayson, it's that time where you and I get to hand out some hardware. Campus Dining Player of the Game. And before we do that, I guess I should look at some defensive stats as well. The quickie stat sheets that they hand us only show, 4 guys on it. They don't show the whole defense. But what I do see as I take a quick look at just the 4 guys that are there, and the leading tackler, of course, I got to have the right stat sheet in front of me, though. That's the halftime box score. I don't know what I did with my final one. 8 tackles for Mike Jones. He's your leading tackler. 7 tackles for Alex Lilliard, and Darren Jones had 7 tackles as well. Reinhardt was 6. Trayvon Watson was 6. Well, that tells me right there, when there's not a double-digit tackler and you win the game, your entire defense is contributing in the win and helping get the job done.
Yeah, very balanced defensive effort for the Trailblazers, and they had a lot of guys just flying to the ball. And Trayvon Watson is a guy that stands out to me. He just made a few big plays, especially a couple plays in the backfield or near the line of scrimmage to limit the amount of yards gained for the Mountaineer offense. But like you mentioned, when you have 3 or 4 or 5 or multiple guys on the defensive end of things that can crash hard and blow up plays before allowing anyone to get, serious yardage, that's a good indicator that you got a good defense, and that's what the Trailblazers have been able to do so far this season, is just to have 5 or 6 guys that can get the job done, and we see it here evident in the defensive stats at the end of this game.
Let's name that now, that campus dining player of the game. I teased that and then realized I hadn't talked about any defensive players, any defensive numbers in this post-game show. But for me, as I'm looking at the stats and looking at offensively, it's got to be one guy. I think he really changed the dynamic of this game. For me, it's Xavier Smith. 8 catches, 121 yards, and it's yards after the catch as well, and he goes for the game-winning touchdown, making up for committing a penalty. So for me, that's my vote. The first 100-yard receiver of the season for Dixie State, and they're able to get the win. Is there anyone else? If there's anyone that should get an honorable mention or even up for consideration, Drayson, let me know. I don't want to skip over anyone.
I think a few guys that we can give a nod to. Let's not forget Casey Allison. He didn't have the stats don't necessarily jump off the sheet. 84 yards is good, but I think more so than not, Allison was just one of those guys that you could depend on, that you could go to, and he had seemed like a lot of times was making a big clutch play on a third down or something like that. He's just a guy that you could depend on in this game to go to and say, hey, get us 8 yards or get us a first down. Let's also give a little bit of a nod to Easton Smith. Came in 6 of 11, didn't throw the ball that much, but was able to complete 6 of 11 and 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. Was kind of, aided there a little bit by the 83-yard touchdown to DeJuan Dantzler. But let's give a little bit of credit to those guys. They were able to kind of come in and stabilize things, be reliable and be dependable. But I agree. I think you got to give it to Xavier Smith. He was the energy guy early in the game. We said a few times, there's Xavier Smith again. There's Xavier Smith again. He was able to just make the plays today that necessary for the Trailblazers to cruise to a 17-10 win. And I think you got to give it to him because he was the guy that you could turn to more often than not to make a big play.
This game barely went over 2.5 hours. Nobody's really counting, but that game flew by, and here we are. I guess I'm going to be able to go home and just watch some other football on a Saturday night and see what else is going on in the sports world. But yeah, Xavier Smith, our campus dining player of the game. How about our Jimmy John's play of the game? I think maybe you have 2 now. One went for longer yardage, but both the Dixie State touchdowns in this game were short passes, the receivers getting some blocks, but for the most part doing most of the work and getting down the field. I would say DeJuan Dantzler's obviously came at a time that gives you the go-ahead touchdown. 17-10.
And then Xavier Smith
look ahead. What lies touchdown for Dixie State? Of course, the way the schedule falls this year, only 5 home games. So we're at the point in the schedule after the 3-game homestand in September where you have 1 home game for every 2 road games. So Dixie State now on the road, and it gets tough. Chadron State next week in Nebraska. That's a long trip that they'll probably, I would imagine they'll probably leave on a Thursday night and just bus all the way through the night and get out to Chadron State. That's what we did a couple of years ago. And then after that, it's to Colorado Mesa. And that'll be a big game right now. The Mavericks trailing to CSU Pueblo right now. Not as good as they have been in past years, but it's always a battle, kind of that rivalry in the RMAC with Colorado Mesa. And then the next home game, which is homecoming, Colorado School of Mines coming to town on November 3rd for a 1 p.m. kick. And it's hard to think and fathom at this point that the next home game is already the final home game of the season for Dixie State. We're 7 games in, and the Trailblazers are 5-2, and to this point of the season, it's the best season we've had in the D2 era. They have a chance to make it special. Now with 4 games remaining, you see an opportunity to win, 8 or 9 games in this season. So Dixie State will look to continue this run where they have won 5 of their first 7 games. we'll have that game for you on November 3rd on ESPN Radio, 97.7 FM. Andy Thompson will join Drayson and I. We'll be kind of a three-man crew that day. And we do have a on kind of location pregame show planned. We're not sure where in the stadium, but we're going to bring our desk that we use for Trailblazer Weekly out, and it's gonna look nice, and we're gonna have some fun with it on homecoming and a pregame show for you there. But stay tuned to DixieStateAthletics.com for the results and the stories from today. Also, the next 2 weeks on the road at Chadron State and Colorado Mesa. Our time is spent for the day. Drayson, I want to get your final thoughts on the game today before we wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a tremendous game for the Trailblazers. Carrick, a win that they needed to get. I think Western Colorado came out. I think they surprised the Trailblazers a little bit, came out very aggressive, and was desperate for that win, their first win of the season. But the Trailblazers responded, went into halftime, made some adjustments, and was able to come out and win a game they were supposed to win. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This was a game they were supposed to win, and they did just that. But I did like the fight in the Trailblazers coming out, to begin the game, and then obviously in the second half to make some adjustments and really negate a team that was desperate and hungry for a win. They did a good job of that. Carrick, our three keys, if we were to revisit our three keys, I think we could give them a pretty decent grade on two of the three. Obviously, the control of the ground game wasn't quite where it needed to be, but nonetheless, they played smart, and they were able to create some big plays and create some plays downfield, and that's really the key that you can look at. Is if you can create big plays and not limit the silly mistakes or the stupid plays, that's something that you can turn to always to be dependable. And they did that today to get a 17-10 win.
Of course, Drayson and I will break it all down on Wednesday on Trailblazer Weekly. And I mentioned that we were going to, I forgot to give a few plugs to that. That's our weekly Dixie State Athletics talk show every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on Radio Dixie 91.3, on CEC TV, and on the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page. It's an opportunity we have to talk to a lot of coaches and student athletes, and we'll have some more of those coaches and student athletes on the show this week. We'll break this down, as well as Dixie State volleyball team getting a big win at Colorado Mesa last night. Staying right in the thick of the RMAC Conference Championship hunt. Colorado School of Mines has lost a game now, and with just a few games remaining in the season, it's a race to the finish line to see to jockey for position with that RMAC tournament coming up. Ironically enough, the volleyball team is at Western Colorado tonight in Gunnison. So we had a couple of our teams, volleyball and soccer, playing against Colorado Mesa yesterday, and now football and volleyball against Western Colorado today. I want to thank you all for listening or for watching, however you were part of the broadcast today. Big shout out to Marcus and James and Lauren and Trey and Dave and everybody that has been part of the CEC TV crew. One of these days I'm going to get a whole list of everybody that's here so I can just name everybody by name because they deserve it. Appreciate their hard work. They're here hours before the game and hours after taking down. Big shout out to them. I want to give a shout out to Martin Kelly, our radio producer on the Radio Dixie 91.3 FM side as well. Another thank you to those in Colorado listening on KEJJ 98.3 FM as well. For our CEC TV crew, for Drayson Ball, I'm Carrick Segmiller. Thanking you for watching today. We will be back on the air on Saturday, November 3rd, 1 p.m. kickoff against Colorado School of Mines. We'll have the...
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund breeding.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome real quick to the Trailblazer post-game show here on Radio Dixie 91.3. I do apologize for all the technical difficulties we've had today. There's been something going on here at Radio Dixie. We're going to figure it out, and we'll have a perfect broadcast next week. I promise that. Let's get into the game here real quick. Dixie State has won their 5th game of the season. They go 5-2 on the record after beating Western Colorado University 17-10, dropping Western Colorado 0-7 on their record, 0-6 RMAC play. Dixie State, as I said before, goes 5-2 in their record. They will go 5-1 in RMAC play, keeping them in the hunt for the RMAC Conference Championship. Obviously, we're looking at other games to possibly get some leg up, some help in some other games that maybe it will help us get to the conference championship. We're not getting that help this week. Colorado State Pueblo is currently beating Colorado Mesa 20-7. They have 12:29 left to go in the third quarter. And that game, Black Hill State won over New Mexico Highlands today, 42-7. Other scores out of the RMAC, let's take a look at them. A game that is very important to us that helped us out a lot today. South Dakota Mines beats Adams State 56-42, dropping Adams State to 4-3. Basically out of the conference championship. They needed to win today to at least throw their hat in the ring to possibly stay in the RMAC conference battle. They will take their name out of the competition as, again, South Dakota Mines beats them 56-42. A big win right there. Helps Dixie State out a lot. Let's look at some other scores. Obviously, Black Hill State and New Mexico Highlands, they played. Already said that score. Colorado School Mines stays undefeated. They beat Fort Lewis 44-17. Back-to-back 44-point games for them. That is incredible for Colorado School Mines. We have mentioned it before. Carrick has mentioned it before. Colorado School Mines going to be coming here. Trailblazer Stadium, the homecoming game. Dixie State, Colorado School Mines. If Dixie State can keep outright wins all the way until that game, and then wins that week after against Adams State, then they will meet each other again in the conference championship. That game will matter. But first, Dixie State has to get past Chadron State. They will be traveling up to them next week. That game will start at noon. We'll have that game live on Radio Dixie 91.3. Pre-game will start at 11:30. We'll have post-game. Obviously, we'll have halftime. That's going to be an important game. And after that, Colorado Mesa, we got to go to their house. That game will be at 7 o'clock. And we'll also have that game live on Radio Dixie 91.3. We'll have pre-game at 6:30. Post-game, halftime during that broadcast of that game as well. A lot is coming up for Dixie State. If they stay perfect from here on out, Dixie State fans, we will be in the mix for the conference championship, and this is an exciting time. I got to say, the move to the RMAC has finally paid off. Coach McCurr has finally got his team in the right direction. We can say that we have a good football team here. We can now say, again, they said Dixie State sits at 5-2 on RMAC record. Over 5-2 in overall record. They said 5-1 in RMAC play. Great win for the team. Player of the game. Carrick mentioned it before. Xavier Smith. He had an amazing game today. He had 8 receptions, 121 yards, and 1 touchdown in the game, averaging 15 yards. Had a long catch of 32 yards. I got to say, he's player of the game. No doubt in my mind, he's player of the game. That was a great moment for them in that one. Again, Dixie State goes 5-2 on the overall record, goes 5-1. Thank you for tuning in for another great Dixie State football game. We'll be here live next week. Again, Chadron State, Dixie State next week, noon o'clock, 11:30 pregame here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
You've been listening to Dixie State Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. For more information on Dixie State Athletics, DixieStateAthletics.com. Thanks for listening to Radio Dixie 91.3.